2, 1, now.
SP building. 100 knots.
Outside.
V1. Rotate.
Well, hello there again, my friends. Welcome to another V1 live stream coming at you from North Texas on a cloudy, rainy day here up in the northern Texas region. Good to see everybody here in chat. I know the title is a little misleading, right? It says Winter Ops Part 2, but here we are sitting in Lost Wages, Nevada with a sunny sky, severe clear weather condition. But do not worry, my friends. The METAR over at Boise, Idaho is light snow, low visibility, and it's going to be an interesting little approach in there. Hopefully that remains true as we get in. Hopefully it doesn't clear up. It might clear up a little bit, but either or, we're trying to find our way into a winter operation, into a low visibility environment up there in Boise. Now, we're also with vSpirit Airlines today, so we're going to be operating this aircraft under standard operating procedures for vSpirit, trying to do it as real as possible, as real as it gets. So the couple things we'll have to address with that. But if you want any more information for vSpirit, highly recommend this VA. It's one of the only two VAs I'm a part of, and the link is in the description below. So feel free to check them out. But without further ado, who we got in chat here? Nuxana, good to see you. Caro's in house. Iron Man, good to see you, my friend. Tony Spark, Actual. John Franco, Pax 217. What's going on, man? Good to see you. Brad K's in the house. Mika, Fubar, always a pleasure. Brian Penderson, good evening or good afternoon from South Texas. Texas represent, man. Welcome. Flight Force is in the house. Good to see you, sir. Robinson J. Santana. What's up, man? AR Sim. Doesn't happen to stand for Armalite Rifle, does it? What's up, man? Good to see you. Stephen Hayner. Who else we got here? Jeremy Harvey in the house. What's up, man? Good to see you. Our failures turned on, as always, my friend. As always. Max Rank. Been a while, man. Hope you're well. Good to see you. Chuck Blake, Swarm 3513, and Scott is also in the house. Alex and Tony Johns. Tony Johns. What's up, man? Good to see you. The legend himself is here. Well, are you guys ready to get this show on the road? It is VA Friday, Feel Good Friday. I'm ready to get this airplane fired up. I hope you are as well. So first and foremost, let's get some catering over to the aircraft. Let's get some snacks. Request catering services. Oh, it helps if I turn the actual sim on, doesn't it? There we go. Sim sounds are on. Catering will come over to the aircraft. We are going to be, like I said, using the vSpirit interface, which uses Pegasus software. So I'm going to just show you this one or two times here. Again, if you guys want to see where I'm getting all my information from, I like to pull this up here. Got the little VAMSys block here, so you can see we're operating today's flight as real as we can. Spiritual Wangs 2512. We're in the pre-flight stage at Alpha 15. Our OFP, here it is from SimBrief. This is where I'm going to get all my flight planning information when I'm plugging away at the box. A couple notables here. You can see our gate fuel required 16.7. I threw on a couple extra pounds, 1,500 extra gas just because of the weather situation. And we do have an alternate of Tango Whiskey Fox, which I am unfamiliar with. We'll have to look that up in our flight plan as well. Route of flight, all that good stuff. So this is where I'm getting my flight plan information. Here on the map itself, you can see there's a couple of vSpirits out here. We got someone going from Boston to Vegas. We got another aircraft, Tony Johns himself, Salt Lake to Orlando. Wow, that's a haul, my friend. Hope you got a nice tailwind up there. Looks like you're getting ready to enter a little bit area of light chop. Might want to turn that seatbelt sign on there, my friend. Who else we got? We got another fellow flying from O'Hare to Fort Misery. Oh, that's always a fun one. And Miami to La Garbage. Awesome stuff. Here we are. Going to be taking off from Vegas, and our destination is Boise, which is right here. There's literally a giant cell right over Boise Airport. So this ought to be a fun one. I hope that kind of stagnates there and we get to see some more winter weather ops. So we'll be tackling that along our route of flight. So this is Twin Falls, Montana. Thank you, John Franco. That sounds about right. I haven't been to Boise. I'm just going to say I don't think I've been to Boise in years. I don't think I've been there. I think the last time I was there was in either a corporate jet or a freight airplane. I do not think I've ever been there in the Airbus. It's just one of those cities I haven't seen. So in the airline world. So we're going to be going, but we fly there. My airline actually flies there. So this is kind of good for me too. In case I do get a Boise trip for some reason, I'll have some more familiarization. So this is what we're going to be rocking. This is part of the vSpirit VA. So again, the link is in the description if you want more information. It just gives you purpose to fly. You know, it makes you really feel like you're not alone in the sky. It makes you feel like you really are doing something when you fire up that sim and you start flying. And I'm not a huge VA fan in general, just because I think part of it has to do with my real world job. And when I get on the sim, I want to just have fun. But the vSpirit VA is a great place to start out, and it's also a great place if you're an experienced flyer, but you just want to have more purpose to flying. Cannot stress it enough how fun it is to fly with them on VAMSys. And the guys who run it are a couple of my mods, so real good dudes. Looks like our catering has refused to show up here. Let's just double check. Why is our catering not coming to the airplane? Request catering service, please. We're going to use LSG, Sky Chefs. All right, they are on their way. Santana Robinson J is gifting 5 subs, kicking the stream off already. Dude. Thank you so much, man. Massive support there. Guys, if you picked up a membership, Ailerons Into the Wind, Brad Moreland, Alan and more, a cicada. Kevin Thomas. And yeah, if you guys picked one up, man, shout out Robinson Santana for the gifted sub. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you. Boring gate because it's a straight pushback. Chris Duper, you know all about Alpha 15. Yeah, it's a straight pushback here. Although I think I'm going to try. Okay, here's the deal. I need someone to tell me when we do pushback with GSX, are we going nose right or tail left? Because it depends on which way you look at the airplane. And if you guys tell me the wrong answer, I'm going to ban you in chat. So we need to go nose right is my assumption, right? All right, you guys let me know. We have time to figure it out. Meanwhile, let's get this airplane fired up. I think our off block is on the hour, so we got to get this airplane loaded and ready to go. So battery switches are coming on. 1, 2, we'll get the external power online. I'll just get this overhead. Every time I fire up this airplane in daytime with no cloud condition, just this dark, like worn out light look is just so reminiscent of old 319s. One day we'll have a 319 from Phoenix, won't we? It's from the pilot's perspective. Okay, so we're going to go nose right. We're going to get it right today. Twin Falls, Montana is our alternate. Thank you, John Franco. I have never been to Twin Falls, Montana, so that'll be interesting if we have to divert. But you know, depending on today's flight, see how it goes. Hopefully we can get there relatively soon. I really wanted to do some more winter ops. I wanted to focus on another topic we haven't discussed, and I've personally never done in the Airbus, but it's a technique called ice shedding. Somebody left a comment in the last video, brought it up, and it's a procedure that I would actually like to practice because I've never done it in the Airbus. Now, I have seen it and done it in the Embraer, and ice shedding in a turboprop's totally different scenario, but there's actually a procedure where you run up the engines to clear them of any ice and ingestion and things like that. So depending on how today's stream goes, we may do a short second leg just to see, but no promises yet. Which runway do I plan on departing? Well, winds are calm right now, so I think we're going to taxi out to 26 right, probably, right? That'll be the most common. I mean, we could blast off of 1, but we'll have to take a look at our departure. Either way, let's get the airplane ready to go here. Cruise supply oxygen, come on, ground control, CVR test. Can I do a flight from Miami to Domingo Republic? Maybe in the future, my friend, maybe in the future. We'll get that on, we'll get this on, we'll go position 1 here. Make sure our IRS is in alignment. There we go. Auto, nav position 1, it's my leg. Seatbelts, auto, emergency, arm, auto, fault. Everything is off and looks good up here. Fire test. Tail left. Vegas is using 8 left right now in real life. Really? I thought the last I looked at the meter, it said wind calm. Interesting. Well, we'll take a look at it. I mean, good thing is it's not real life, and we can pretty much go wherever we want to go, right? As long as there's no controller online. So that's always a pleasure. Let's come down here to the ATSU and let's do an AOC init flight initialization, and let's pull it. You just checked their ATIS. Cool deal. Went to an air show in SFB last Saturday. It was fun. Clapping for the Allegiant 19 and 20 landings between all the aerobatics. That's awesome, Alan. Awesome. Digital Merc, what's up, man? Good to see you. Good morning, my friend. All right, estimate time en route, hour 45. Las Vegas, Boise, Twin Falls. That looks good. Init. We'll pull it right here. We'll kind of finish our console flow. Everything else looks good. Integral lighting, we'll just turn that up because it looks cool. Floodlights are off. Everything looks good on this side. And Jeremy Harvey brought up a good thing earlier. Let's go to the config, random failures, and let's make sure they are all available. We'll store that as default for this livery as well. So failures are pretty much ready to go. Let's go back to McDo, and we're going to go to ATSU. And we'll leave it here for now. AOC menu. We'll leave it on that page for now. Let's hit the magical barrel ref key. 3027. That is a significant difference in pressure. And let's finish our flight planning. Vegas traffic. Spirit Wings 2512. Taxiing wherever the hell I want to. Vegas. Exactly, Jeff. Exactly. Dumb question. Do aircraft get fitted with winter tires when it gets cold, or do the regular ones work fine? Crow. From what I have experienced, I do not believe they really change the tires depending on the season. Now, I could be wrong. Generally, when I go out there, most of the tires look the same. And to be honest with you, since I'm a captain, I don't do too many walk-arounds, especially in the winter weather. So, but from what I can recall, I don't think so, but I could be wrong. And maybe in some extreme environments, maybe in some extreme environments they do, but as from my knowledge standpoint, I do not believe so. Were you able to attend the Airshow in Alliance? No, Iron Man, I wasn't, but I did see the Thunderbirds. I think the Thunderbirds were flying, right? I saw the Thunderbirds on the downwind into DFW. Got to see them doing their smoke show. They had the smoke on. It's pretty cool. All right, our cruise flight level today is 370. Oh, you know what we need to do? We also need to start boarding because that takes about 42 years to do with GSX. So let's go GSX and start boarding, please. Boarding is requested. Beautiful. Flight plan, departure. So we're on the Rat Pack 3. Freezing your butt off during a walk around in the winter weather is Phantom's job. Exactly. It's 100% his job. Man, I wish we could fly together again. It would be a hell of a fun trip. Tony Johns, it is cost index 15, but you didn't see that. I didn't see that. Then no vSpirit mods saw that, so we're good to go, my friend. we're flying swept wing jets. We're not flying turboprops. All right, if we blast off of what's the most scenic runway? How about we do that? We'll do the most scenic departure. The 8 is awful. No one wants to do 8. You got to do this. Should we do 8? That is kind of cool. If we do 2-6, we go downwind of the city, which is kind of fun. But I guess should we do 8? Oh my goodness, I guess we'll do 8. Everybody wants to be realistic, right? The 1s, we could do 1 right. Let me look at the 1 right. 1 right would be just a slight right turn. Yeah, 1 right's the shortest. Let's do 1 right. You did 2-6 and it's the scenic. Yeah, scenic just goes downwind. That's just a super long taxi. All right, let's do 2-6 right. We'll do 2-6 right because I want to get the points. I want to get the single engine taxi points. So we're gonna do 2-6 right. So if you're unaware, there's a point system with vSpirit, and there are certain procedures that if you comply with them, you will get additional points, which is pretty cool. So single engine taxi is one of them. So we're gonna do 2-6 right because it's gonna allow us to get an engine warm up and do a single engine taxi. Coming into Boise, the arrival today, we are on the Spuds, the Spudded Potatoes. We're on the Spud 4, and we're off Brof. Spud 4 Brof. We'll insert that. I didn't select a runway because I'm a little bit slow on the uptake this morning. 10 right. When does Boise land? Terminal's on the north side. They probably land on 10 right. Let's do 10 right, ILS or RNAV. Well, matter of fact, since we know how to do this now, since we're super fancy, let's actually check the arrival weather like this, like professionals. If I can find the screen though, my flight. And let's look at the Boise arrival weather. Here's the thing too, folks, as a disclaimer, there is a potential that I will have to Alt F4 midstream if I get a specific phone call. I'm hoping I don't get it, but just as a full disclaimer. Boise right now, 120 at 12, 2 miles, low vis, light snow, mist. Oh, it's a blustery, wonderful day. Just spewing pumpkin spice lattes on this METAR. Absolutely love winter, man. I love this time of year. So, especially approaches like that, where they're not super low, you've got plenty of visibility, 2 miles. It's basically VFR, almost. Actually, it is VFR. Right, is it VFR? Yeah, 1,003? Oh, 2 miles, so not quite VFR, but plenty, basically VFR for airline guys. So 10 right would be pretty good coming in there. So let's do 10 right. We'll plan 10 right. We took in Navigraph charts. On standby today to fly John, kind of. So basically the way it works is when there's a trip that's open that needs coverages, sometimes they will offer incentives like 200% pay to pick up said trip. There is said trip in the potential for me to get called, so as much as I love you guys, with the holiday season around, I would probably have to accept that call and go do some real flying. But there's a chance I don't get it either, so let's see. We said 10 right, so approach and scroll this down. I wish, so I've been, is it just me, or is this, I kind of wish that, well, maybe it's just me. Sometimes these menus are, this scroll bar is kind of hard to do, but that's just me being picky. 10 right, we'll set up for the ILS because, oh, that's Vegas. We want to have the lowest possible. This is the high ILS, or we don't do that. What charts do I have? I'm looking at my real-world charts to see, because I want to do a real-world chart here. ILS Yankee 10 right, we could do. Let's do ILS 10 right. So ILS 10 right Yankee is what we'll set up for, just like I would do in real life. And that's off of Jimmy. Okay, so just kind of seeing how we do this here. ILS Yankee 10 right. I'm not going to do the Zulu because I don't think we're authorized for that high ILS. I'd have to double check what that is actually. We are on the Spud via Brof. Insert that. Let's take a look. What is a high ILS? Liam Arnold, that's a great question, my friend. I would be lying to you if I just spewed out an answer. I have to look at the chart. If I look at the chart, I could probably decipher it for you. All right, let's take a look now at our flight plan. We'll step through this. There's our departure, 26 Rat Pack. It's kind of a weird one. We're going to have to do it direct in there. Oh, it takes us on a downwind with a weird little intercept. Perfect. That looks good to me. We'll set our range back down to 10. We'll set our FCU altitude to flight level 370. Tony had a great point here, and I'm going to come back to his comment. 370 is set. Let me finish loading this up here. RadNav, we are going to hard tune the Las Vegas VOR. In case we lose an engine, we do have a single engine procedure that we'll comply with, and maybe I might even put that in the secondary if we have time. So let me get this done here. Let me come back to init B, and let's get our weights done, and then I'll see if I can hard tune this, or if I can manually create a single engine for you guys based off my real world charts. Tony Johns, though, mentioned that if you this is a good point, because money makes the world go round. So if you donate to vSpirit, you get 1,000 bonus points on your most recent PIREP, and it also helps this great VA to pay its bills. So Tony Johns, absolutely correct, good point. Thank you for bringing that up. If you are in the vSpirit and you're enjoying it, you want 1,000 points, bonus points extra for your career, consider donating and help the VA continue to do its thing. So 128.0 and 29.2. 128.0 and 29.2 goes there. Fuel on board is 16.7. 16.7 is set. And make sure it is balanced. It is 84 aside. Fuel tank pumps are coming online. Here we go. All right, so that is set up. Don't have any Las Vegas 8 is. Uh-oh, do we have to talk to Albuquerque Center on 32.8? I think we might have to talk to Albuquerque Center on 32.8. Let's make sure the rest of the airplane is ready to go, though. So mass and balance is pretty much done. We'll do our takeoff data here in a little bit. Let's go back to Navigraph, and let's get out of Boise. Let's go to Vegas, and let's go to our ground charts, pull up our taxi chart as we get ready. And I think we're looking good now. So we'll get rid of the fuel page. We are supposed to be off block in 10 minutes. I doubt that's going to happen. Let's fire up the APU. 10 prior to push. We'll start the Yahoo. And they are boarding, doing bags. Looking good. LA Center. Oh, LA Center. We'll contact them. Thank you, Tony Johns. Vegas is in LA Center. You're absolutely right. Good call. Good call. That's why I bring you guys along. All right, let me go back to Vegas here, and let me see my single engine. Do I use Pilot Edge? John Franco. I've used it in the past on X-Plane. And I actually really enjoy what they try to do over there, making it a very realistic environment. The guaranteed coverages. I haven't activated my account in probably over a year now. It is a pay-to-play service, so I'm not... I don't know if I'm going to re-up anytime soon. Maybe we might do a month of Pilot Edge flying. That is something that would be kind of fun to mix it up. I don't even have any of the stuff, though, for Microsoft. I'd have to download the clients and all the necessary stuff. But Pilot Edge is a great training tool. I wouldn't say it's much of an entertainment tool, because it is very much geared towards pilot training and making sure you don't screw up. Free snacks, the Spirit, nickel and dime you for everything. Brad K, absolutely. Jeremy Harvey, do we de-ice? We are not going to de-ice today in Vegas. I was going to do de-icing out of Boise, but Lauren actually had a great point. We've done the arrival into Vegas so many times. Let's depart Vegas and fly into Boise. And depending on how the stream goes, Jeremy, we might do a short flight out of Boise in some heavy icing snow conditions and just a random livery or something, do a short flight somewhere else, depending on how the stream goes. But because there is more ice stuff I wanted to talk about today. But with us flying into the ice, not so much. Here we go. Would you do shared cockpit with a fan? Yeah, maybe in the future. I have ideas for that. All right, let me pull up my company complex. We said 2.6 right on the Rat Pack. So I want to see if I can actually pull up my real world chart and see if I can build it for you guys in the secondary so you can kind of see what would happen. Here we go. Rat Pack departure procedure. All right, so let's hop into the airplane here. And let's take a look at this secondary flight plan. I'm going to have to build this kind of like this so we can see it. Actually, scratch that. We'll go down here. We'll do secondary. So, real world, there are certain airports that have what we call complex special procedures should you have an engine failure. Normally, you always see me come down here and I just put in the arrival, right? We'll come back down here like, oh, if we have an engine failure, we'll come back, we'll land ILS 26 left. We'll go back in here, we'll hit secondary perf, we'll come over to the right, we'll put 200 on the DH because I don't want to look it up. We'll zero the wind out. Temperature off the ECAM is 9 and the altimeter is 3027. And then we pretty much leave it at that, right? Now that's good for sim world, but in real world, there's more to this. So there is actually a complex special for departure, meaning if we lose an engine off of 26 right, we don't just fly straight out. Because if you fly straight out off of runway 26 right, one engine, you are going to fly right into a mountain. So the complex special procedure, this one's pretty complex. It actually has 3 different segments at which it can begin. Basically, before Leland, which is the fix on the RNAV departure, we're supposed to climb at V2 via runway heading at 2.9 from Las Vegas or 2.3 west of the ILAS localizer, turn right to heading 035, reaching 3,200 feet, level off, accelerate to green dot, continue climb. At 13 miles from Las Vegas, turn right heading 100, reaching 5,900 feet, continue climb, request radar vectors, return to resume on navigation as deemed as appropriate. That's a lot of information to comprehend when you're flying around with one engine on fire or one engine out. So, if we in the real airplane, we can load these. They're actually database driven. Unfortunately, you can't do that with Navigraph because I think it's company specific, so they don't have access to that information. But what we can do is kind of, sort of build it. So what I'm going to do here, and I'm going to try this. I'm going to try KLAS Las Vegas, or no, how would I do this? The Las Vegas VOR and runway heading, this is just a reference, is 259. And I'm going to draw this out to like 20 miles. And I want to do it right here. So what that's going to do, if you look at my plan view now, I have drawn, well, that's not right. Delete that. It'd be the opposite. It'd be Las Vegas 039, and I'll draw it out to 10. There we go. No. Disregard. Okay, so that's not working. So we'll clear that out. Trying to figure out if I can do it. So I guess we can't really build it. There should be a runway point in here. I can't. Can I do 26 right? I don't think so. Invalid. Yeah. Okay. So we can't really draw it on the secondary, but what we can do is we can put it in the fix info page, right? So we're going to come over here. We're going to go fix info. We're going to go Las Vegas, and we're going to put the correct VOR, and we're going to put the radius of turn that we're concerned with, which the first one is 2.9. So we just put it at whole numbers, 3.0 radius. All right, done. So I've got a 3 nautical mile radius around Las Vegas. Once we hit that, we have to turn right. Once we turn right, we're flying all the way out until 13 miles. So I got to do a second fix info, Las Vegas. And we're going to do this one at 13 miles, which will be our second turn. We'll do a radius off that. Now, theoretically, I could put a radial on this as well. Let me try the 259. What does that look like here? There we go. So, this is a lot of information. This is some real in-depth stuff here. We're going to be late for departure. Sorry, Pete Monitor. 26 right departure. Look what I've drawn. Now, don't pay attention to the green line here. Look at these dashed blue lines. What this is signifying here, this is a visual pictorial of what is going to happen if we lose an engine on departure. Before Leland intersection, I'm going to fly runway heading until reaching 2.9, which is this 3 nautical mile ring right here. At this 3 nautical mile ring, I am then going to turn right on a heading of 035, which I can't draw. Just have to trust my FO, trust my pilot monitoring to make sure I'm turning the correct heading 035. We're going to fly heading 035, speeding up and accelerating and cleaning up the airplane until reaching 13 nautical miles. 13 nautical miles is now indicated by our second radius over here. Once we hit 13 nautical miles, we will then turn to our final heading of 100, and then we will pick up radar vectors or whatever is deemed necessary at that point to return back to Las Vegas. So while it kind of looks like hieroglyphics and makes it kind of confusing, it's just a visual pictorial to go with the information that we're already aware of and that we've already briefed for this departure. So maybe you guys like seeing that information, maybe you don't care, but either way, that's kind of what would happen real world. That's the scenario that we'd have to brief and we would look at and make sure everything is done accordingly, because if you lose an engine, you don't have time to get familiar with the procedures. You need to be familiar with all your engine out procedures prior to ever having an issue, especially in areas of high terrain. So we're going to force Toga today, PAX on, dry runway off 26 right. We'll sync the final, we'll sync the weather, and we'll calculate that. Our speeds today are going to be 24, 35, 35. And I think we're done boarding, right? Let's actually prepare for boarding, or let's actually prepare for pushback. Prepare for pushback and departure. Done. All right, so they are doing departure clearance rejected. Do I want to start engine before pushback? No. That is done. Coming up to the overhead. That's coming online. That's going away. What was our flap setting? It was a flap 2 is set. Flap 2 is set. We're looking good. You guys have been briefed. I've been briefed. We're ready for pushback. Oh, we need to call the LA Center. We'll call them after pushback. We'll get off blocks. We want to get off block first. Are you grateful for the fixed info page and that you're not in the flight factor? Jeremy, absolutely, my friend. Absolutely. I've no shade to anybody who loves the flight factor 320 on X-Plane, but from what I've seen, it has gone like a 180-degree turn of what it used to be in X-Plane 11. I don't know how you can make an airplane look worse in the cockpit going from 11 to 12. Until that gets remedied, I'm not even going to touch that with a 10-foot pole. So, yes, I am extremely grateful for the Phoenix fixed info page. I know the fly-by-wire has fixed info as well. So, we've got great Airbus add-ons in this sim that just absolutely love it. Remember to talk to ATC. Logan, I'm going to call up center here right after we get off the gate. I want to see if we can avoid a delay, but I don't know if we're going to. It's 12:59. Locking gear, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Windows, doors, and slides, closing arm, beacon on, thrust levers idle, parking brake is on for now. Transponder is in auto before start, checklist is complete. You guys have been advised, I've been advised, you've been briefed, I've been briefed. Come on, let's push. So in the real world, we have until 59, until this goes to 1801 to be on time. We want to go nose right, tail left. Come on, brakes release, tell me. Oh, no. Gotta come back over here. Rip. Ground services. Get rid of that, get rid of that.
Release parking brakes.
Brakes released, clear to push.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at wheel.
Hey, and we're off blocks at 000. So Piedmont, if you're in the chat, hopefully I don't get knocked for being late. Jay Holmstrom says, someone gifted me Someone gifted me a sub the other day. Just want to thank you, whoever it was. Greatly appreciated. Jay Holstrom, that's awesome, man. Welcome to the Team Green via a membership perk. That's absolutely awesome, dude. Glad you picked one up, my friend. The TOLUS updates were actually good. You're 100% right, Airbus 737. I've flown the 319 and the 321, even the 340. I think TOLUS has made leaps and bounds ahead in the Airbus market on X-Plane 12. They've done a fantastic job with getting their graphical updates. The flight factor, honestly, reminds me of how the TOLUS 319 looked when it first came out. You remember when TOLUS 319 first released and how the textures were in the cockpit? That's what the flight factor reminds me of now. I don't know how that happened. But either way, this is not a it's not supposed to be, we're not bashing anything. We're just telling you how it is, man. All right, we got to call ATC. We'll wait to start until we talk to ATC. I just wanted to get off blocks. Let's check VAMSIS. Let's see how we did. So this is kind of, you know, this goes back to, oh, I don't have VAMSIS on this camera, but on my my ACARS, it says pushing back. Yep, at 1800, so we were on time. So we did push off on time, guys. Good job. I did not get a PDC, and LA Center has hopped offline, so I guess we won't be calling LA Center. So in that case, let's go ahead and start them up, shall we? We're going to do a single engine taxi, so we're going to taxi on number 1 only. Ignition mode to ignition start. We do have bleed pressure. Let's go ahead and turn 1. Enjoy the startup sounds.
Set parking brakes.
Brake set, clear to disconnect.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Swarm, don't tempt me, my friend. Don't tempt me. Micro Center running a special 12th generation i7 and motherboard for $350. Logan, you and me both, man. Can I read the white sticker left of the PFD? Jeremy, yeah, that's the basically the information for the aircraft. So this is your aircraft model. This is the registration number. This is the Airbus serial number, 3616. So is that the 3,616th A320? Max taxi weight, 176.38. Max takeoff weight, max landing weight, know that, 145.505. Max zero fuel weight, 137.788. Now you know what's interesting. This max zero fuel weight of a 320 is the max landing weight of a 319. Isn't that kind of cool?
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed.
All right, we got a good start.
Left is clear. Right is clear.
There goes my tug and tow. Got a little Spirit on there. Isn't that cool? We'll wait for the pin out front, and then we'll do the flaps from the cabin view. Alberto D, welcome back to Private Pilot. Alberto D, are you the first member in chat that I've seen with the official V1 wing status? 36 months or greater? Alberto D, man. Thank you so much for joining the stream. Glad to have you on board, man. Thank you for your continued support. You're absolutely awesome. There's my pin over there on the right. And I missed a super sticker from Jason Barzy. $5 super sticker, chat. Thank you so much, Jason Barzy. Sorry I missed that for you, buddy. Appreciate that. You're hyped for the stream. I'm hyped as well. Thank you so much for that, dude. Appreciate you. All right, we're doing a flaps 1. We'll config for single engine taxi. Fubar says, I'm definitely buying GSX. I guess I'm holding out in case it goes on sale for Black Friday or something. Yeah. You know what? If using GSX for like VA Friday is really cool, and for me, knowing that they do that little de-ice simulation as rudimentary as the de-icing simulation is for GSX, it's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. My feelings are slightly changing. You know, I was initially thought GSX was a waste of money. Look at that guy departing right there. How cool is that? But now, you know, now that I know it does de-icing and compile it with VA Friday, yeah, you know what? It's warming. I'm getting warmed up to the idea. So that's off. That's off. Rudder trim is 0. We're going to do yellow electric pump on. We're going to turn the APU bleed off. We're not going to. Yeah, we'll turn the APU bleed off. Sometimes we leave that on. And we're going to taxi out to 26 right. We'll put 22.8 in the Unicom. After start checklist. Engine analysis is off. The electric pump is on. The rudder trim is 0. After start checklist is complete.
Alpha 8, Alpha Delta.
All right, let's go. Are you all ready? Let's roll. Did it say flaps 2 or am I tripping? Let me double check. It is flaps 2. Good catch there. Good catch, my friend. Flaps 2. Never done that. All right, brake check. pressure 0. Here we go. We're going all the way to 26 right via Charlie. We'll just take it via Charlie all the way down. Vegas traffic, Spirit Wings 2512, going to taxi 26 right via Charlie, Vegas. All right. Good evening, Sharklets. Welcome. Fubar says it's funny, though, in the mundane details of your job that you dislike having to sit through and deal with in the sim are things we really like. You're absolutely correct there, Fubar. You're absolutely correct. That's why I can't stress enough that, things I say or enjoy on the sim, it's all just a personal preference. It's just my opinion. Opinions are like buttholes. Everyone's got one and they all stink. LA Center is online. It doesn't show online for me. Am I tripping? What do I think of the new YouTube update? Mika, you know what? It's not bad. I see some additional features that I'm probably going to mess around with here a little bit more as I do some podcasts and stuff. But yeah, there's a couple of new features from the creator side that's pretty cool. Pilot 1423, what's going on, man? Welcome. You're starting your type on the 320 in 3 weeks? Awesome, dude. Check out V1 Sim on YouTube, man. He's got a hell of a professional series on it. How old is the channel? Jeremy, as far as creating content? Oh, man, I don't know. It's over 3 years. I mean, I've got members that are over 36 months, so... And even to get membership status, you have to have X amount of stuff met. So... I'm not even sure. Very good evening from the UK. How is everything? Everything is good, Jason, UK, or Jensen, UK, excuse me. Welcome to the channel, my friend. We'll go out 87 here, or excuse me, Bravo 7. We're on the wrong side of the fire hydrant, aren't we? This is where you need track IR. Now we'll take it out here, and then we'll go left all the way down to 26 right. How do you bind the Thrustmaster to Fenix? That is a question for some Thrustmaster users, my friend. Unfortunately, I don't have any Thrustmaster hardware, so I can't really help you out there. All right, here is Charlie. Mika Morgan, it says 4 years. Nice. So we've been 4 years. LA Center's hopped back online, 3555. So we'll turn on to Charlie, and we'll call LA Center. LA Center 3555. $35.55 is up. Let's go ahead and just stop the airplane. Brakes are set. We'll give them a call. And we have information Quebec.
1502 for departure fire sense, and thanks for Quebec.
LA Center, good afternoon. Spirit Wings 2512 on the ground in Vegas, looking to get IFR clearance to Boise with Quebec.
Spirit Wings 2512, thanks for Quebec. Pre-departure clearance on the way.
Alright, so we'll hold. We'll do a departure hold. Now this,
1029, thank
ironically,
you for,
sitting here
on Bravo,
is pretty realistic
left.
because going to a place like Boise and the weather that's going on right now, you would probably have some
Alpha
flow,
8 via Bravo, Alpha
delay
8.
flows, and you'd have to sit and wait. So here's our PDC LA Center 2512, Boise, squawking 7142.
Yeah, Alpha 8 Bravo. That's Alpha 8.
And let's see. Rat Pack.
Taxi to runway 8 left at Alpha 8
Sid,
via Bravo, Alpha 8.
Departure 3555, 3555 ready taxi, end of message. Cool, so we've got our PDC, we've got everything we need. We just need a climb via on the top. So climb via on the
no
top.
No Alpha in there until you get to the turn.
On the Rat
Let's just
Pack.
make this progressive taxi. Just make a right onto Bravo. And then when you get up to Alpha 8, make a left and hold short at 8 left at Alpha 8.
Top altitude for Rat Pack.
Okay, I'm sorry with that.
I can
Don't
see
worry.
it. It's flight level
That's okay. We'll get
$190.
you going.
So let's dial in 190.
Alaska 3336, radar contact, altitude.
Altitude 5100, Alaska 3336.
190 is set.
Frontier Flight 2185, climb maintain level 260.
LA Center Control Night has been a true legend. Awesome,
level
man.
190.
Maintain 190, 3336.
Terminal 2 station east, ready for taxi.
Whoa, everybody calling ready to taxi. Oh, look at that American over there. Oh, that's so cool.
All right, blocks. That was 19.
That looks so cool, man. That looks real.
November 1 whiskey.
I love these. I love this sim. This sim is so much fun. Look at these ground textures. These ground textures on flight. I mean, this scenery is super
This is American 198.
frame heavy, but the textures are worth it. In Ben we trust. Oh, look at this view right here. No, I think 3 people called him to taxi. Hopefully I don't piss him off. I'm going to call him too. And LA Center, SpaceX 2512, squawking 7142, ready taxi. We're on Charlie, requesting 26 right.
Delta 2522, Lima Airspace North, radar service terminated.
Fun watching winter ops while I
approved.
sit in Kona watching the waves crash up against the rocks.
Oakland Center's offline, switch to advise.
Jay, that's awesome, man. Has an FO ever come to work sick and then got you sick? Yeah, Jeremy, I got COVID from my FO. Pissed me off, man. Over my birthday, too, nonetheless. You're in Vegas now, Key6? Sweet, dude. I don't know why my camera is a little bit turned there, isn't it? I'm gonna try to fix that.
Aircraft calling for clearance out of Las Vegas, is it?
Ready for IFR to Boise.
Yeah, it's about as good as I can get it right now. You'll have to live with that. You're sweating in Orlando, like some actual winter, Alan. I'm actually sweating in Texas too. It's rainy here, but it's like 75 degrees.
That's correct. Make a left onto Alpha 8 and hold short of the runway.
Good thing we single engine taxi. He called me? I didn't hear him.
That's my 65 request mission stop, please.
So 625, you're in a non-movement area. Push and start at your discretion. Advise ready to taxi once you get down to the non-movement line with the spot number.
Copy, thank you. 625.
Cargo Lux 43 Zulu Heavy. Contact Albuquerque Center 132.8. See you later.
See you later. So we are technically we're short of Bravo 5.
Later. UPS, did you get the SWAT code?
Yeah, so we're Charlie short of Bravo 5. No. Keep an eye on the weather, Al. I know I got to keep an eye on those thunderstorms, man. And LA Center, SpaceX 2512, squawking 7142 on Charlie, ready to taxi with Quebec. We're Charlie short of Bravo 5.
Spearwings 2512, go ahead and squawk normal. Did you set up for 1 right?
Unfortunately, we're set up for 26 right. We can't swap it around. It'll just take us a couple minutes.
Okay. I can give you 1 right, or I can give you 8 left. Information Quebec is current. That gives the runways.
Copy that. We'll set up for 1 right for Spearwings 2512.
All right, Spearwings 2512, runway 1 right at Bravo. Taxi west on Bravo. And you set up the FMC on your taxi.
Okay, 1 right at Bravo, and you want us to go west on Bravo for Spearwings 2512?
That's correct.
Copy that.
Bravo, westbound to 1 right at Bravo.
Bravo, westbound, 1 right, Bravo, Spearwings 2512.
Legion 2280, wind
All right, so I
290
guess
at
we'll
6,
just
runway
take
1
this
right at Bravo,
next
clear for takeoff.
taxiway.
1 right.
So we're going to do a little bit of
Alaska
multitasking here. So we're going to go ahead and
3336,
get the
climb
airplane
maintain level
rolling.
370.
Climb maintain 370, Alaska 33.
And
Southwest
departure
1029, runway 8 left at Alpha 8, line up and wait.
1 right on the Rat Pack.
701 Delta Bravo, entering oceanic airspace, radar service terminated, frequency change approved,
To
San Francisco radio's offline,
Fornic.
squawk 2000, have a good flight.
Fornic, interesting. Perf speeds, we're just going to put the same ones, or 124, 124, or 124, 135. Keep an eye where we're going. 124, 135.
Yeah, 1427, radar
and
contact on you, descend via the
135.
Ole 2 arrival.
That is set. Flap 2. We're looking good. Let's get back on center line. Now, in real life,
Delta Alpha,
that
that's an
whole
invalid
single
flight
engine,
plan.
that
IFR,
whole
you need to
single
have
engine
a fixed
procedure we talked
between,
about, we'd have to pull out
Las
the
Vegas and
new
LA,
single engine
at
departure
least one.
procedure, and then we would have to brief that and set that one up as well. So let's get number 2 started. Yellow electric pump is off. APU bleed is coming on.
Delta Alpha,
We're going
are
to
you
start
a Mooney?
number 2 here. No special favors for me. Nope, no special favors
Okay,
indeed.
you're muted
my
right
friend.
now. I'm getting to the carrier from you. Still muted. American 12815, taxi via
All right,
Delta.
so that is set. Here we go.
Alpha,
Let's start
Bravo
number 2,
8.
engine mode to ignition start. And we have bleed pressure turning 2. We're going to have to start this one from inside. Now, it's important while you're starting number 2 to keep number 2 at idle, because if you don't, you could get a start fault. Ask me how I know. So 1 right, westbound on Bravo, and we're going via Bravo. So we're basically going to go all the way with an intersection
1502,
departure.
say again.
Yep, sir, we are unable to.
Migs, what's up, man? Welcome. Yeah, we just got a runway change, a single engine taxi, and we're turning 2 right now. Look at Freedom 1 over there. That's cool. That guy departing. Gosh, this sim is so fun.
All right, South 1502, that would be the Rat Pack 3. And,
Ridiculous how much
let me
fun it
send you
is.
new,
There's a bus
departure
transfer.
clearance. Let me know if you can accept.
How do I know?
1029, ladies and
Well,
gentlemen, 06, runway 8 left at Alpha 8, clear for takeoff.
Once upon a time, taxiing to 18 left.
2280, radar contact, Al2 leaving.
If you're on that flight, you'll notice that we sat short of the runway for about 10 minutes as we went through an ECAM for a failed start procedure.
2280, climb and maintain flight level 190.
RC Flyer, what's up, my friend? Greetings from Cincy. Cincy, what's up, RC Flyer? Hope you're doing well, my friend. Thanks for joining the stream. All right, sounds like number 2 is started. We'll go back to norm. That's already set. Flaps or 2. Back to the overhead. APU bleed off. APU is off. We need to start the chrono so we get proper warm-up time. And let's do a flight control check. Full up, full down, neutral, full left,
expect ILS 25
full
left
right,
approach.
neutral, rudder, full left, full right. Kind of weird in the Phoenix. Neutral.
Traffic. Traffic.
Cool. All right, that is done. Auto brakes max. Takeoff config is checked. That's going on. That's going on. We're TAR. Everything else looks good. Signs. Oh man, you guys never turned the seatbelt sign on. That's twice. 2 streams in a row. I forgot that. That's kind of weird. Jason Barzy, $2 super chat. Can I get your camera view settings? Thanks for the super chat, Nick. My camera view settings. To be honest with you, I wouldn't even know how to get those to you, my friend. Bind your camera views. Bind your camera to move around, and then you can set any wing view you want, my friend. Go to exclamation point wing view. Listen to that fantastic gentleman of XP72. He shows you how to bind your keys. So all you have to do is bind the keys. You don't have to do any CFG editing. All you have to do is set your key bindings up properly, and you can move around and set any window view you want, my friend. That's the best way to do it. Jeremy, in real life, yeah, we get new perf numbers, but for sake of time, we are, for single pilot ops and task saturation, we're going to omit that, which you would never do in real life, obviously. FO Phantom 320 would have new numbers done. He'd have the new secondary flight plan done. He'd have the briefing done. He'd have everything done for me already before we hold short runway. That's what a good FO would do for you.
Thank you, sir. UPS 1427, information Charlie, current at LA.
My job as a captain is to literally make sure we don't hit anything while taxiing.
Advisory copy.
We'll hold short here.
Charlie Juliet, clear.
We need another 60 seconds to take off. So 1 right at Bravo.
3000, expect level 3605.
We would also have to do a takeoff shift here, Jeremy, but because we're already set for Toga numbers, we're going to be good. In fact, I don't know what the... I wish I knew what the shift was, because then I could put the shift in the perf calculator. Let me just double check. 26 right, intersection.
Reback is correct.
Does it have intersection?
Altimeter at Big Bear,
Full length?
3031.
No.
You're released for departure. Time now 1821 Zulu, void if not off by
I wish I could put an
1850.
intersection in there.
Current wind is showing 070 at 8. Clear skies, 10-mile visibility. And give me a call. Once you cross 10,000,
right.
or actually,
See,
disregard
I
that.
can't
Give me a
input
call once
one.
you're on the climb
Dang.
for 5 Charlie Juliet.
It just goes full length.
303.
Let's see. 24. See, they're the same. 24, 24, 35, flap 2, up 0.1. Up 0.1.
Roger,
So
flight
I actually need to
2185,
go.
Spin Disney 5 arrival.
There we go. What did key 6 say?
United 264, rate taxi San Diego with Sierra.
If that's what a good IFA would do, then what would Phantom do?
Southwest 1029, radar contact, climb and maintain level 190.
Savage, dude.
I mean, take level 190.
Honestly, yeah, Phantom.
Wing 2512, runway 1 right at Bravo, line up and wait.
One right, line up and wait. Spirit Wings 2512. All right, line up and wait at
United
Bravo. Here we
264,
go.
Runway 27, taxi via Bravo, information Sierra current.
Enough chats. Oh, look at that.
Bravo, we have Sierra.
Airplane taking off. There was 3:30.
Sir, information Romeo.
All right, we got
Las
3
Vegas.
minutes on the warm-up time. We can go ahead and reset the chrono.
Two 1208, wind
Here
is
we
230
go.
at 4, runway 15, clear for takeoff.
Guys, smash the like button for Mr. Ben over at VATSIM, LA Center, coming online, giving us some ATC. You get to see a couple things that we don't typically do. You get to see a runway change, a single-engine taxi. You get to see an A350 floating backwards and then disappear. Smash the like button for that.
Runway 26 right, clear for
I think that's
takeoff.
like button worthy.
6 right, clear for takeoff, Southwest 1967.
738 Zulu uniform. You're looking for clearance from Searchlight?
That's Roger, 738 Zulu uniform.
Okay, the advisor's drones in the area. Just so you know.
Drones. That aviator, yeah, that spool up sound, wasn't that good?
738 Zulu uniform. You're clear to Big Bear as filed. Maintain 1010,000. Departure 135.55, squawk 746.
If you haven't hit the like button for everything else, can we hit the like button for that lineup? Because that's about as good as it gets. Smash the like button for a perfect lineup, except my nose was a little bit quicker there.
And they do a uniform readback is correct.
I still think that's like button worthy.
And Las Vegas altimeter.
Getting the yogas in chat, I see.
And I wasn't kidding about the. There are. That is the basically the capital of the. Aircraft with no pilots on board. Can't even think of it right now. All right, you're released for departure. Time now 1824 Zulu, void if not off
Talking
by
about UAVs?
1855 Zulu. Give me a call.
What's our
climbing
fuel?
through,
16.3
8,000.
required 16.0. Wow, we're 300 pounds. We got to get out of here.
Clear for takeoff.
I'm not going to spool them up 50 because we need 300 pounds.
Experience
There we go.
2512, wind 290 at 6, runway 1 right at Bravo, clear for takeoff.
One right, Bravo, clear for takeoff. Experience 2512. Here we go. Yoga's in
Southwest
chat, spooling them up
625,
50.
runway
Nose
8
forward on the
left at Alpha
stick.
8, line up and wait.
Line up and wait, 8 left, 625.
Here
Mary 198,
we
runway 1 right at Bravo,
go.
line up and wait. Airbus 320 is departing.
Yoga
Left is 8, runway 8, 1 left.
never gets old. Never gets
GPS
old.
1427.
Man,
that's
Toga,
20, cleared
SRS,
LS
nav,
5
auto
left.
thrust is blue.
American 1208, radar contact. Say
Thrust set.
1208 altitude check. Turn right.
100 knots, check.
Heading 040 when able, direct radii. Then join the flap 2 departure.
V1.
Climb and maintain flight level 370.
Rotate.
Unrestricted.
Positive rate. Gear up. Navin. Fly width. Whoa.
529, runway 25 right. Taxi via Charlie 10 Bravo.
Yeah.
And Charlie is.
That's the view right there. That's the view. That is the view.
Left to 3336. Leave my airspace north. Radar service terminated. Frequency change route.
Goodbye.
Oakland
Lost
Excuse me. Salt Lake Center
wages.
offline. Switch to advisory 122.8.
So fun.
366 coming on today.
All right, let's pay attention to what we're doing here.
Later. Allegiant 2280. Climb maintain level 3.
Lever climb. Wait for that positive trend. Let's go MCT here. A little bit of a right turn.
Asking for crossing.
There's a nice positive trend. Let's go right back into climb now. Thrust, climb, climb. Auto thrust. In the bank angle, check to the right. We are above F-speed.
You're 198, not sure why
Flaps
you
one.
crossed one right. You're supposed to hold short of one right at Bravo. Go ahead and cross. Let's see, what we're going to do with you. Go ahead and cross one. Actually, just hold short of one left.
This controller's
We'll
got
have you
the
depart
attitude of
from
a
one
real,
left.
controller. Just the way he's saying things.
Okay, hold short of one
Very,
left, sir.
very realistic.
So 625, wind 290 at 6,
We'll
runway
like
8
class
left
one
at Alpha
right.
8.
What are we going to do with you? It's awesome.
American 198, runway 1 left at
Oh yeah,
Bravo.
phone number
Line
incoming
up
for sure.
and wait.
There's Nellis.
Runway at runway 1 left, American 188.
Southwest 1029, climb maintain level 370.
Man, beautiful departure there. Here's
Fairway 2512, radar contact, say altitude leaving.
6,000, climbing flight level 190, Springs 2512.
Fairway 2512, altitude checks, climb maintain level 190.
Climb and maintain, flight level 190, Springs 2512. All right, climb and
Fairway
maintain.
198,
We got a thrust
2906, runway
climb
1
now.
left
Thrust
at
climb, open
Bravo,
climb,
clear for takeoff.
because we no longer need to comply with the restrictions. Remember, that's a specific clearance. You don't want to confuse those. Climb via and climb and maintain. So climb and maintain, that basically relieves us of all restrictions now. So we can just speed up to 250 and climb all the way up.
264, runway 27, line up and wait.
PAX 217, was that you that crossed the runway? Man,
Right
Phoenix
Mike,
is flying.
stand by. Give me a call in about
so
2 minutes.
good.
I'm doing a briefing right now.
Get just a little bit of burble coming over these mountains here. What's the outside air temp? +9. So, you know, the turbulence in the wintertime, I shouldn't say turbulence in the wintertime, but generally speaking, you know, areas that are typically
At 264, keep the departure frequency. Switch
laden
to,
with
tower
hot
18.3
orographical lifting,
for, takeoff
like
clearance.
desert areas, Phoenix, Vegas, some airports in California, you get really just, it's just rough to depart. But in the winter, when it's cool outside, you don't get that traditional turbulence, that chop that you get in the summer. And it just feels like that. It just
runway
feels
1 right
good.
at Bravo, taxi
Feels
west
good.
on Bravo.
Right, taxi to 1 right via Bravo in my center.
All right, we're at 9. We're climbing all the way out. This is our last turn here on the departure. These views are stunning, though. Al W says there's lots of real controllers on Benson. I believe it.
Direct,
All right, we're at 10,000. Let's go ahead and lower the nose.
200.
Set it about 8 degrees here. We'll let it accelerate slowly. Not necessarily going to follow the flight director just yet. Let's go ahead and get our lights off. That's coming off. That's coming off.
LA Center, day flight 19, requesting
We'll forward call the flight attendants. Yep, that cooler air is more dense. Absolutely right, Alberto. We'll go autopilot 1. We'll go full screen cam. But Alberto, you're absolutely right. So like that cool, dense air, it feels like the term I like to use is it's like glass, right? So if anybody's water skied or any water sports, or if you just see a lake or a body of water where there's zero wind, it's just a glass reflection, right? Just smooth. And that's how in the wintertime it just feels like when you have a nice cool morning, not a lot of wind, the air just feels like glass, and you get that better performance from your airplane too, because it is more dense, right? So more efficient, thicker air, and it just you can literally feel the difference in the flight controls when you take off at 0C and you take off at 40C. There's a huge difference, and I don't know if it's a placebo effect, but I can almost feel it in Microsoft. Like that's how good this is.
Los Angeles Center, welcome back.
Boise right now,
radar contact
120
might
at
be the
13, 2.5 miles, rain, mist, overcast 2100. Sounds like a beautiful day for pumpkin spice lattes,
Right?
John Franco. Love it. Thanks for the weather update, my friend. There's that wind noise. Let's take a look here. So again, vSpirit, let's do our actual op. So at 10,000 feet, RadNav, we're going to clear the RadNav page out so it all goes back to the default. Our secondary, we're going to copy the active flight plan now. And then on VHF2, we need to monitor Delta operations on 121.5. So these are all procedures I tend to skip on most streams, but trying to be as realistic as possible today. So we've got COM2 set, and we're monitoring, but we're still transmitting on number 1. We're out of the terrain. Let's go ahead and turn the terrain push button off. And how's the temperatures in the back here?
GPS 1427, wind
It's a
very
little
left
bit
favor,
warm, a
wind
little
25
bit warm
left
back
turn
there. Let's go ahead and knock these down a little bit. Right about that 11 o'clock position
All
is
right,
perfect.
Cessna 5 Alpha Mike, your squawk code out of Charlie will be 7216. And advisory is
I haven't had my
taxi,
pumpkin
expect
coffee
you to
yet from
right
Duncan. I
for
refuse to set foot
And
inside the
going out
Starbucks.
to,
John Franco,
Wayne,
I don't blame you, my
information
friend.
bureau.
I don't blame you. Unfortunately, some of the airports I go to, I really don't have an option. Whoa. Meant to go the other way. Yeah, that wind
Alpha
noise
Mike,
gets
20
pretty
right,
aggressive.
taxi via Bravo.
I'm going to check something
Which way you heading
here
now, by the way?
for passenger load.
Okay, northwest bound. Okay, thanks.
Do airliners monitor guard? Yes, Michael Davis. Almost every airliner should monitor the emergency frequency on number 2. 121.5 is the national emergency frequency, so typically you're supposed to monitor
Flight
that.
19, push and
Unless
start
you're trying to
in
call
cruise,
company
tail to the
ops or
right on
something
the
through a
taxiway
VHF,
Alpha,
but most of the
and
time, yes,
pick up
everybody's going to
Charlie.
pull up VHF2, and you can assist. You know, I've assisted other airplanes. I've been
Okay,
assisted
thanks.
from other airplanes. Sometimes you lose a freak. Sometimes you get off.
tongue twisted
You
like
miss
me
a
today.
you miss a frequency change. You get out there in no man's land. Somebody can transmit or relay a message to you via the guard frequency. So yeah,
okay, that
most
makes sense.
airliners do.
Wings 2512, climb maintain level 370.
Climb to flight level 370, experience 2512.
American 198, climb
All right,
maintain level 390.
370 is set. We are still thrust climb, open climb,
625, climb maintain
STDs
level
for you,
280.
me, and the jump seater. 1, 2, 3 is set, and we are rocking and a rolling. Lake Mead off the right-hand wing, picking up a little bit of light chop here, getting into that jet stream. So contrary to low altitude being nice and smooth,
So 1502.
wintertime, specifically speaking now to the United
taxi
States,
down, hold short of,
that jet stream
taxiway
comes
Bravo.
down lower
Airbus
into
320
the
neo is coming in left
into
to
the
right.
country. So that's
Follow
what
him
brings
out
that's what drives
to,
our real cold
runway
weather.
1 right at
Turn
Bravo.
this guy down even more. So that's what drives the cold weather here in the States, especially in the southern part of the U.S., is that jet stream diving down. So when that happens, sometimes you'll start entering this clear air turbulence associated with the jet stream in much lower flight levels and more frequently when you're flying in the southern half of the U.S. So coming out of Vegas, typically you're not really messing with the jet stream in the summertime because that jet stream's up there towards the polar region. But as winter approaches, you get these days where the jet stream dips way down, brings in some cool air, and you can really have turbulence associated with that jet stream at a much lower flight level than you'd be anticipating. Chiz or Chilsey, love the streams, man. Thank you for stopping by.
Southwest 1957. Oh, that's right. You're making
Yeah, that
a
wind
quick
noise.
run
I can't wait
to,
to see what the new update is for
Big
Phoenix.
Field.
I know
Take your discretion.
I saw what they posted, like the upcoming changelog, which means it's a good thing. I don't have any access to it. I know I've had a couple of other beta versions for like the landing one and stuff. I really hope they kind of stick with this landing flight model until maybe something changes in Microsoft. But I feel like this is the best version of landing that I've felt with the Phoenix since it's released. I feel like this particular version feels the best. So I hope they stick with it. Your ground speed is going to be slow with the jet stream. True, Jeremy, depending on which direction you're flying. So the jet stream here in the U.S. moves typically from west to east. So when you're flying L.A., Miami, L.A., Kennedy, or basically Vegas to Dallas, anything going eastbound, you can take advantage of that jet stream, and I mean, you can get some really insane ground speeds. I've seen over 650 knots ground speed, 670 knots. I've had a 200 knot tailwind, but on the opposite side, going westbound, you can have some very long flights. One of the first flights I ever did, I think I told you guys this before, on OE, brand new first officer. My flight was my very first leg in the real airplane on the Airbus 319 was Miami to LA, and it was wintertime, but I think it was like January, February. We had almost 200 knots on the nose the entire flight. It was almost 7 hours flight time. There was a JetBlue that had a divert for fuel, so it just it can really make your flights longer if you're flying into that jet stream. Roberto Soriano has joined the chat. What's going up, Mr. Throttletek himself, my friend? Good to see you. Hope you're well, dude. Hope you're well. I think we're gonna. I think next week. Yeah, I think next week we'll kick off maybe Boeing week, and I'm getting an itch to fly the Mad Dog, so I'm gonna get the lovely 737 throttles out. We're gonna be flying those next week, so you guys be able to see that again. But Throttletek himself is in the chat. Always a pleasure, Roberto. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're having a good day. Jay said I had a 7-hour flight from Boston SFO. Never-ending flight. Exactly, Jay. Exactly. Is there any engine asymmetric prevention system on the Airbus? Alfarizi. It's an interesting question. Not quite sure what you mean, but you mean as like using asymmetric thrust. You can use asymmetric thrust on the airplane without limitation from the airplane itself. Now, where it does have a little bit of asymmetric engine protection is during an in-op, or not in-op, or during a certain configuration. Wow, we got to connect this. Fornic to MLF, Fornic to MILF. Insert that. I love flying in right angles. I need to get a hold of wrong side simulations. I love it when dispatchers plan us in right angles. What was I saying? I lost train of thought now. Oh, asymmetric engine protection. So on the ground, if you have, I'm trying to remember the exact configuration. I believe if you have an engine bleed off, so let's say you have engine 2 bleed is deferred, what will happen is engine 1 is going to pick up the load for the bleed, so it has to run at a higher ground idle. The airplane knows when you're on the ground with a high idle on number 1, it knows to bump the idle to number 2 so you don't taxi around with asymmetrical thrust at idle. That's really the only scenario I can think of any like artificial asymmetrical thrust protection or automation. And the cool thing is that's actually simulated on the Fenix. So if you bump up the engine bleed for one engine and you turn the ground idle up for one, it'll automatically ground idle up the second engine. And that's modeled in the Fenix. Pretty cool to see that. Another Gene, welcome to Commercial Pilot. Glad to have you back on board, sir. Roberto says batch 3 of throttles will be sent by the end of next week. There you go. So if you are one of the purchasers of a Throttletek hardware component, looks like batch 3 is getting ready to ship out next week. So always good to see Roberto stopping by and giving us status updates. That's very exciting. Probably, if you're in batch 3, you might be getting them close to the holiday season there, so you might be able to do some Christmas, New Year's flying maybe.
PS1 1427, welcome to Los Angeles.
Ooh, and Roberto says we have a gear lever that you can add to the throttles. Very interesting. Loving the A320, such an awesome aircraft. Richard, AAL. You and me both, man. Stabilizer motion. Jeremy says, remember your 7 hours in the back of an MD-80. Jeremy, how could I forget, my friend? How could I forget? Yeah, that was not my favorite day. Quick question, what's the limit on tailwind headwinds at cruise? Is there a point where it's strong just from causing... Nope, Biggs, not that I'm aware of. There's no limitation. As far as like you have a headwind that's so strong you're flying backwards, I don't think that's not really a factor for modern jets. Now, light 172s, Piper Cubs, absolutely, you can get up there and start going backwards probably if you are brave enough. But as far as the 320 is concerned, no, there's really no issue with tailwinds and headwinds. Where you see the most issue is strong tailwinds on descents. Strong tailwinds on a descent, even if you load the winds up correctly in the box, theoretically the airplane's going to calculate for it, but the 320 in particular, just it's hit or miss. You know, some do better than others with the tailwind. There's some 320s, I swear, I get in it, the winds are in, we're coming down with like a 80 knot tailwind or 50 knot tailwind, and it sucks. It misses all the restrictions, the speed brakes are out, like it's just part of the 320. Now FMS2 that's coming is much better, but you do ride the speed brake a heck of a lot more with FMS2. I don't know what the logic is behind that, why they went that way, but it will honor the altitudes. It will honor those altitudes, but it will speed up on you. Alpha Star says, thanks for your answer, because I read final report on SJ182, said engine asymmetry plus human error. Interesting. I'll have to look up what crash that was. I'm not familiar with that.
Just go ahead and sit over there east of Delta and let me know Once you
How
got it
forgiving is
figured out, we'll let
ATC
you
with
go.
missing restrictions on a descent?
Roger that.
Just depends on the day, man. There's been.
Delta Alpha, clearance on request.
Are we
Stand
still
by.
in this
Southwest
guy's?
1502.
Are we still in his
Wind,
center?
290
I feel like we're no longer in LA center's airspace. Let's see here. Put that down to 1. I'm gonna turn it this way down. Liam, as far as them being forgiving,
Radar contact, send Iron Man 2 arrival.
just depends on the day,
Bar
really.
down, Yankee
You know, I've had
runway,
controllers say, "Hey, can you make the altitude first? Altitude first, then speed." Because most of the time, the conflict for controllers is getting airplanes in certain altitude windows. You got traffic departing, and you got traffic arriving, and they might be going over or near the same fix. So in that scenario, speed is secondary. So there could be a fix that says cross bunts at 10,250 knots. But if you're struggling, controller may say, hey, altitude first, then worry about the speed. So what you can do there is crank that sucker up 340 knots, indicated selected speed, and then you can really come down, especially with full brakes. So it just depends on the day. But if you're going to somewhere that's, you know, anywhere that I'd say is top tier, I'm talking Miami, Orlando, anywhere northeast, Kennedy, LaGuardia, Philly, Boston, Chicago, LA, San Fran, Seattle, off the top of my head, those airports. Dallas is even a little bit more laid back, but those other airports I just mentioned, they pretty much expect and want you to hit every altitude and speed. Now, of course, any given day is different, right? You could have a different scenario, but most of those big airports, you need to be on speed, on altitude.
56 Delta Alpha, you are cleared.
Joshua Feltima, welcome to Private Pilot, sir. Exclamation point, welcome.
5,000, expect 11,000.
Does the extra spring on the TCA Boeing yoke make it more realistic? I haven't even messed with the extra spring, Drizzy, but the default spring tension that came with the setup feels really good for me. So I don't think there's a need to mess with it. All right, let's take a systems check here.
7160 for 56 Delta Alpha.
Simon 56 Delta Alpha, readback is correct. The Long Beach altimeter is 3.
A little bit out of order there. Everything else looks good. Green hydraulics are down. That's normal because the gear is up. A little bit of a fuel imbalance. So we are 600 pounds out of balance. We can do a fuel balance. We'll keep that page up. We'll do a fuel rebalance here when we get to cruise altitude. So we'll keep that in mind.
Foxtrot Delta to 30, 56 Delta Alpha.
I'm pretty sure we are out of this guy's. Yeah, we're not in his control anymore, right? We'll go to 22.8. All right, everything is looking good. We are flying in right angles, which I absolutely love. We have 461 miles to go. Let's go direct. Let's go direct fly. Shall we? How can I see? I'd hate to turn if I'm not in his coverage area. Or if I am in his coverage area. $35.5.
Let's help get down there. American 529, radar contact.
I'm trying to pull up something here because I want to go direct.
Like you're at 5,000. Thank you, sir. Climb 1813,000.
There you go. I guess if I go to, what is that thing called? Fantastic?
Flight Alpha Mike, Lima Charlie Airspace. Radar service terminated. Frequency change. Cruise. Squawk
Oh,
100. Have a good flight.
I'm barely in it still. Let me pull it up here.
Center, Cessna 728 India Whiskey, type 310.
There we go.
VFR to Riverside.
We are, oh yeah, we are just almost out of it.
This way in India Whiskey. Yeah, I thought you just, I had you floating for a while there. Go ahead and squawk 7267.
Almost. Almost out of it.
267 ident.
A little bit further than we can
Flight 2185,
transfer frequencies. Then we'll go direct to.
Go ahead and cross 2011, make a left onto Alpha, north to the gate. Thanks for flying.
Realistic cockpit view? This is it right here, man. Well, in real life, I'd have my seat way back and reclined, so I have my hands up behind my head. This is probably what I'd be looking at in real life right now.
South of the Victorville.
Seat back,
COR.
chilling. Oh, wait, hold on. Pumpkin spice latte on the dash. Being like, hey, Phantom, looks like our fuel's about 600 out of balance. Would you run a fuel balance for me?
So 625,
Sure thing.
descend Angel 4 arrival. Let
I'll
me
do
know
a
if
fuel
you
balance
accept
procedure.
the, RNAV Yankee runway 24
Pull out a
approach. The,
USA
localized
Today. Oh no,
Thrustmaster.
pull out a company material and start reading. Santiago, what's going on, man? Hello, Captain. How are you doing today? Santiago, I'm doing very good, my friend. Welcome to the stream. Glad to have you on board, man. Hope you're well.
Accept the RNAV Yankee
Or the iPad with movies. Oops. Roberto.
right,
Company
pick up Charlie
company
on the
movies,
ATIS,
like
that 24 right localizer
maybe
is
like what's a company movie? There's all kinds of company movies that are on there, like how to do
up. All right, I'd say set up for the
what's the
RNAV
PRM
Yankee
approaches, right? Got to
like
watch the PRM approach video, or I don't know, just company stuff
1502,
movies.
landing
Yeah.
table level 330.
Here's a pro tip. Whatever airline, if any of you are in chat, if you ever do go fly at the airlines,
Day flight 19
you're probably going to have an
and,
iPad
variable
from the
3,
company.
runway 25
Do
left,
not
full length,
watch or do anything that is not supposed to be on your company iPad on your company iPad. Bring your own iPad from home. Bring your own iPad from home. Now, if you're flying at Delta, you can pull your laptops out and work on your scheduling bid and then overfly the destination by 400 miles. But, you know, if you're not Delta, you're not as privileged, so you can't do that. But only Delta can pull out their laptops and do
make
bidding.
a left turn for me heading 220.
John and Martha King videos. There you go. That's all I watch. I only watch John and Martha King videos when I'm flying. All right, we are leveled off here. Let's go ahead and put this in for a second. Are we? Let me check. Fantastic. We are out of his coverage area. So, since we're out of his coverage area, we're going to go like this, 122.8, and then we're going to go direct to fly, or excuse me, direct to Eli. Insert. Hit it. We're on the turn, baby. Jeremy says, do your feet get cold when you fly? Yes, like wintertime especially, Jeremy. Those late nights, the red eyes, it sucks, dude. My feet get cold. That plate down there on the bottom of the cockpit gets very cold. That's why I started wearing my boots to work years ago. And that kind of helps it. But when I used to wear dress shoes and stuff, just my feet would always get cold. So I actually wear my Ariats and wool socks, especially on late night transcon stuff. The foot warmers, they're great until they work, and then when they don't work, the company pulls them out. So you rarely get to fly with foot warmers. I remember one year as an FO, our company had just picked up an A319 from Aero Mexico. I believe it was like Aero Mexico sold a 319 or something. I think it was Aero Mexico. And it had foot warmers in it. It had like all these like different upgrades and stuff in the cockpit. And that particular airplane, for whatever reason, was doing a lot of the Minneapolis turns. And that's what I was bidding. I was just bidding for Minneapolis turns. So most of my flights were in the same tail number, which is very rare in the airline world. In the airline world, I mean, you fly the same airplane once in however many airplanes you have, just roll the dice. I mean, the odds are very slim. But for whatever reason, that month, that airplane just seemed to be on that cycle doing turns. So I got to fly it multiple times, like, oh, this is great. We have foot warmers. And then fast forward, I think like 2 months, I was going to do a transcon red eye from, I want to say it was like East Coast westbound. Was it Baltimore? I think it was Baltimore to LA, red eye in the wintertime. And I saw the tail number on my schedule. I'm like, oh, that's all right, though. I mean, at least we got one good thing for us. You know, we're in this 319, the Aero Mexico 319, so it's going to have foot warmers. Hey, it'll at least make the long journey a little bit better. Get into the airplane. What's the first thing I look at? Orange sticker up there on the dash, MEL, INOP, foot warmer INOP. So, no foot warmers. That was probably the last time I even had an airplane with a working foot warmer. JetKid1230 says so many of my coworkers have been canned over that. Yeah, exactly, man. Like the company iPad is for company materials. Like, don't be like, you have to use some common sense with stuff like that. Like, do not, even if it's not bad. Like, even if you're just doing schedule bidding, like, honestly, just put it on your personal iPad. Leave your company iPad for company stuff only, and it'll just make your life so much easier. Low profile, just make your life so much easier in the long run. You can move the seats in the Fenix. Oh, really? Yeah. So down here, this plate is what gets cold. Now, can I move the pedals? Oh no, there's the table again. How do I move my seat back? Does it actually work? Like the proper... Well, I'll be damned. Look at that. So right about there is where I put mine. Right before it turns over, because I still like to be straight on. So right about there is where I put my seat. Do I move the lumbar support? No. Okay. So here we go. Let's go realistic cockpit view. Put my head right about here. Zoom it out. So honestly, in all seriousness, this is about the realistic view. Right here. That's what we got. That's a realistic POV of V1 Sim at work. We use garbage sacks as foot warmers? Really? Oh, garbage bags? Oh, yeah, sacks. Are you from Canada? V1 wears his fuzzy Elmo slippers in flight. Do you ever do any flying into Detroit? Just transferred there about 6 months ago. Dylan, yes. Yes, I do. Do Detroit quite frequently, actually. We have guys who even tape over the camera on the company iPad. Oh, yeah, I've seen that too, Jay. Put a little... So, funny story about that. So, MEL stickers. First off, what are they? We don't have any example here. A lot of times you'd see in the real airplane, there's like a little folder case here, like a little holder thing, and you have a couple different stickers in there that can be used for maintenance. And what happens is when something breaks on the airplane, say something simple like... let's just say this DCDU is out, right? So it's dim, let's say it's off. Let's just say it was completely in op. So there would be an orange sticker somewhere over here or near this, and it's a little orange sticker, and it says the MEL number on there, and it says in op, and you can look it up. So what guys were doing is they would take that sticker that said in op on it, and they would place it over their camera. Now, the problem with that was the FAA was jump seating on a flight where a crew had in-op stickers on their camera, and he thought that meant that the iPad was in-op, and the iPad is a required piece of equipment for the flight crew. You at least have to have one iPad, depending on where you work. For us, I think we need to have one working iPad. So, and if you only have one working iPad, then you have to have some printed charts as well. So you got to go to the crew room and print off all the charts you would need for that flight. But they both had in-op stickers on their iPads. So the FAA, who is, we're going to make a mess of this cockpit. So the FAA, who's sitting over here on old jump seat, is like, how are you guys using your iPads if they're both in-op? And they got a slap on the wrist for that. And then the big memo came out and said, hey, stop putting the in-op stickers on your iPads. So there you go. If you're going to put something over it, put just a regular piece of tape. Don't use the actual MEL stickers, because when you use the MEL stickers, the FAA could be like, oh, so your iPad's broken. Why are you using it? Why didn't you print off everything at the crew room? Oh, well, you just failed. So have fun at recurrent training, and this will go in your file. Santiago, exactly. Easy to stretch and relax when there's no yoke in the way. You can't do that in the 320, my friend. I missed 10 new members from Callie Simmer. I apologize, dude. Callie Simmer, dude. Yes, up there. How did I miss that? My alert box on? Let me turn my alert box volume up for myself. Callie Simmer, dude, thank you so much for that massive membership gift as well. 10 new members: Alan, Cornelius, Christian, Patrick, Raphael, Nicole, Busman, Ian, Chilvers, Mark, Martin, and Lars Olav all picked up a gifted sub from Mr. Callie Simmer. Cannot thank you enough, dude. I'm sorry for missing your dono there, my friend. I apologize for that. But thank you so much for your support of the channel. And he also then just bank angle checked a $5 bomb for the message that I missed. Kelly Simmer, I feel so bad, dude. I apologize. Says you need to understand. Do you need to explain the new perks? Absolutely. ! Welcome. If you haven't already, that'll give you a brief rundown of what you need to do for your perks. You can get the V1 After Dark section of the Discord, which is members only. Check the community tab. I post videos that are member only exclusive. And of course, the V1 After Dark podcast series is available to members only. So apologize for that. I missed that there. Missed that one, Callie Simmer. My apologies, man. Yeah, my alert box was muted, so now alert box is back on. I guess I had it muted from probably one of your other massive donos. It's your own fault, Callie Simmer. I'm just messing. All right, let's do a fuel balance here. We're 600 pounds out, so you guys remember the fuel balance procedure. We have low side 600 pounds. Now, in the real airplane, let's go ahead and turn the seatbelt sign off. It's nice and smooth up here, too. In the real airplane, you don't need to do any balancing unless you get an ECAM that prompts you to balance the fuel tanks. But to stay ahead of the game, kind of help you out a little bit on the approach, balance at 600 pounds. We do it anyway to keep the airplane nice and balanced. So first things first, we're going to move the ignition start switch to ignition start, which I'll do down here on my Throttletek. That puts it into the ignition start mode. That'll get the ignition up here so we don't, if for some reason there's a flame out, the ignition is there. Now, the cool thing is, even if we didn't have the ignition on, if one of these engines rolled back, the FADEC would automatically power the ignition to try to do a relight. Pretty cool stuff, but you can never be too careful. This is just like double redundancy, right? So manually turn the ignition on. Now we're going to start configuring the fuel overhead panel. Next thing we need to do is open the crossfeed valve. We want to make sure we get an open valve here and make sure that it does open correctly, because what we're essentially going to do is we're going to isolate the low side tanks. And if we don't have crossfeed on, you could potentially cause an issue, even though theoretically it wouldn't, because the engines can completely gravity feed with no fuel pumps either way. But this is going to help us move some fuel around. So with the crossfeed open, now we're going to turn the low side tank pumps off, which happens to be the left tank. We're going to turn both of these off. We'll get an ECAM warning up here. I'll say gravity feed only. There we go. We got fuel left tank pump 1-2 low pressure. We'll go ahead and clear the caution. I'll leave that ECAM message up there to remind myself, hey, we need to probably make sure we turn that back on. Now, I don't know why Microsoft does this Microsoft thing with the engine mode selector switch. Sometimes if I come down here and I just do it again, it'll stay on. I don't know. That little bug. Let's try again. Sorry for the repeat, maybe a bit random, but what do you do if you weren't a pilot? Like, did you have a backup in case it wouldn't go as planned? Danny, probably aviation safety, to be honest with you. And then back in my younger days, if it didn't work out in the civil world, I probably was just going to go into the military. So, very blessed and fortunate that my path has worked out the way it has, but really my two biggest passions really in life were flying and then anything to do with the military. So I come from a military family, got background through basically all my extended relatives that I could think of. So that probably would have been what happened. Migs has gifted 5 more subs to the channel. Man, you guys are absolutely awesome. Thank you for the support. Migs has fired off 5 more memberships for you guys. This is crazy. We're gonna need new emojis. I need some more emojis now. I need some more emojis. All the new members: Danny Rubel, Carter Olive, Reset Jet. That's the one I haven't heard in a while. The old Reset Jet. John Franco's already had one. Quate Monday salute to you, my friend. Pascal, Petrifi, and that's it. That's 5, right? Yeah, that's 5. So thank you, Migs. Appreciate you, man. Here comes the alert box. Now it's working. I'm trying to figure out my alert box volume seems to be off. Properties. Advanced. There we go. All right. Jeremy says, I love how generous everyone is here. I totally agree with you, Jeremy. We've got some seriously nice, generous people on this channel. I can't thank you guys enough for supporting me and supporting the channel. We're getting a little bit of a chop here, so let's go ahead and turn that seatbelt sign back on as we enter up to the northbound. So the weather is going to be, let me take an updated look here in a minute. But as we start getting closer, what's our winds aloft doing up here? Our winds aloft are 91 knots on the nose, Jeremy. So this is kind of a cool explanation. Maybe you can kind of visually see what I'm talking about. So we're flying northwestbound, right? And we're flying into colder weather. So that means that jet stream has got to be coming down from the northwest, moving down towards the southeast, right? If I bring up the 360 view here, the jet stream is pretty much moving towards the southeast, and it's going to drive that cooler weather down to more southern parts of the country. So we're flying up into that jet stream. So right now we've got a nice 92 knots on the nose. That's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good. But we'll turn that seatbelt sign on as we enter a little bit of light chop here over the mountains, getting into the head of that jet stream. And your kids follow Dad's passion. My kids aren't old enough yet. My oldest is 3, and I made either the mistake or the parenting award of the year by bringing home a little surprise for my oldest. But it was just a Reese's peanut butter cup. And so now, every time I say I got to go to work, she's like, oh, and bring me a surprise, and bring home surprise. So now she just wants me to leave so I can come back with another peanut butter cup. But no, they're a little bit too young for it now. But I mean, they know what airplanes are. They know what flying is. They've been on airplane a couple times. Mick says, I've seen some routes on Navigraph that seem to cross through one center's airspace and then back into the previous one after a very short time. Have you flown routes like that before? Yes, Mick, I have. I've actually been handed off on a center freak, and I check in, and then the next response from the controller is, short stay here, flip back to 121, whatever it was. I'm like, okay. I do not know the reasoning for that. I don't know how that lines up. Maybe it's a semantic thing. That'd be a great question for Phantom 320, like why that happens. Because I've had that frequency change where it's been less than 10 seconds on frequency before I switch to another one. And another 10 gifted subs from Brad K, a fellow Jets fan, if I'm not mistaken, right? You're the Jets fan? Brad K, dude, thank you so much, man, for gifting 10 more subs. If you guys picked up a gifted sub from Brad K, super generous. I mean, the chat is turning insanely green. This is incredible support. You guys are absolutely awesome. Let's get some, for all my new members out there, let's exercise our new membership emoji participation. Let's get some positive rates in chat for all the generosity coming from Tony, from Miggs, from Brad K, Callie Simmer. So let's get some positive rates in there. Exercise the new emojis. It's the greenest channel out there, Robinson Santana. Thank you, man. Yeah, it's like Frontier, right? America's greenest airline. I am the Jets fan. Let's not think about Sunday. Brad, I don't even know what I'm going to do, man. Like, part of me just wants to go fishing. Part of me wants to see if a miracle happens, but we're just going to get absolutely throttled, dude. We're going to get so throttled on Sunday, it's not even going to be funny. Good news is, though, let me see here. Pull up my Sunday. And to make matters worse, I think the Cowboys aren't even playing Sunday. Am I wrong on that? It's not loading. I don't think they're playing Sunday. So it's going to be a very sad day for myself. Yeah, the Cowboys have a bye week. So it's going to be very sad indeed. Maybe we'll have a good World Series Game 7, you know? Broncos fans get to enjoy a stress-free bye week. Hey, at least you can't lose on the bye week, right? All right, let's start looking at our destination. Oh, look at that. We're right about 100 pounds. We'll do our transfer here. Let's keep an eye on it, and then we'll close up this transfer here. We'll try to get it right on the money. 4,900, 4820. So I'm going to keep the camera view right here. I'm just going to move this ignition back to normal because it keeps flicking. I don't know why it does that. Like some updates, like I've had it where that switch doesn't flicker at all, and then sometimes it flickers. I don't know what's up with that engine mode selector. About 60 pounds, and then we'll flip over. My mutts are headed straight for the lottery. Fall hard for Bedard. 48.20, 48.60. We're almost there. Oop, 20 pounds off. So to close the crossfeed, we're going to do the same thing in reverse. First thing we're going to do is get the pumps on, then we're going to close the crossfeed, and then we're going to put the ignition off. We're almost dead even. It starts to flicker for me if I hold right click too long. Interesting, Iron Man. Okay, interesting. Here comes a turn to the right. Ooh, I wanted to bank angle check this one. Look at that as we start entering the snow-covered mountains of Idaho. So cool, man. Like, this is, I really feel like this is the first time since I've been a simmer that when you get in your simulator, you get in your airplane and you start flying, I have never felt that I'm actually going places to the extent that I felt with Microsoft, you know? Like, whether it be the transfer of like snow-covered environments to just the different temperatures or the completely changing atmosphere, and it's all by default. Look, we're entering over this fully like overcast area. Like, it really drives home the feeling of we are actually going somewhere. For those in Texas, be ready for these storms this evening and tonight. They're supposed to be pretty strong. Ultra swift. Let me take a look here. Let me see what my wife said the same thing. I'm like, it's not gonna storm, you know, like crazy. Oh shoot! There is a pretty massive cell going over Dallas right now. Eey. Not where me. It just missed me. It looks like big line of weather just missed where I am, which is good. Well, if we lose power and I Alt F4, then you know what's going on. Which side does APU pull fuel from? The left tank. Left tank, Mickey D, left tank. Let's get an updated weather as we hit the ETP here. Let's go weather request. And let's pull up Boise. Let's see. And then we'll also check out our alternate as well. I'll do a VTAR tablets. Oh no, is that? Yeah, I'll do that. Is Waco, Temple, Fort Hood in the clear? Oh, I didn't look that far. Let me see. Yeah, Waco's just got a little bit of, just a little rain showers coming in, nothing crazy. The severe stuff is actually right over Arlington right now. Arlington, Irving. I bet DFW is shut down. I almost guarantee you DFW is shut down right now. All departures and arrivals are stopped. Be my guess. Which means there might be some issues at work. Alright, weather data right now. Ooh, 2.5 miles. Rain, mist, few at 24, broken, overcast. Just for the hell of it, let's see our, what's our alternate? Twin Falls? Let's see what our alternate looks like. I mean, the weather that we got isn't bad at all. We should be able to get in, but... Oh, what a great alternate. 200 at 12, gusting 20, 9 miles, light rain, overcast 2800. I guess it's legal, but not much better than our actual. 110 at 14, 2.5, rain and mist. Temperature at 2 degrees. Good night. 8 Sim Flight. Coming in with a $20 super chat. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that massive super chat. Says, love the streams. Thanks for my entertainment to Vegas. Awesome, 8 Sim Flight. Thank you for your support, man. Glad you're enjoying the stream on your way to Las Vegas. Hopefully it's not lost wages. I'm not sure if you're a gambler, but thank you for your support, man. Appreciate you. It hasn't rained a drop west of Fort Worth. Yeah, oh, it seems like, let me see. So Fort Worth, it actually, yeah, no, nope. Nothing west, and it's all moving north and east, so you're in the clear. I'm up north of Roberts, so I'll be in the clear too, it looks like. But man, pretty good little storm there. Migs also super chatting $10. Thank you, Migs, for the support, my friend. Says, Captain, are there any aircraft you'd love to fly in real life but haven't had the chance to do so yet? Any aircraft that you'd go back in time for? Yes, absolutely. 727, number one. 727 would be one I would love to fly. that is not viable anymore. I think maybe there's a handful flying around in the world right now. But 727, and kind of piggybacking on that, I think it would be really cool to fly like a wide body of that L1011, you know, L1011. 7.4, for some reason, and you guys may hate me for this, but I just really haven't, like, I never really had like this dying itch to ever fly a 747. I know it's the queen of the skies. I love the 747, nothing against it, but there's nothing about like, oh, I really, really want to fly a 7.4. I think I would rather fly a 727 and maybe like a DC-8, you know? I think those are two airplanes that'd be kind of cool. Tri-jet or an old DC-8. Smoky, inefficient airplane. Working hard. But I don't think you can go wrong with any tri-jet. 100 miles out from top of descent, Team Vodka. Good to hear it, man. Good to hear it. All right, let's see what we got on the menu today for tunes. Take a look at Vatastic coming into Boise. I could see that Alaska up there. I'm right behind Alaska. Are you 2280, Team Vodka? You're at 35. I'm at 37. Cool. Yeah, there's a lot of airplanes on Vatson. Let's get rid of that. Let's see what we got on the tunes for today. L1011 is your favorite airliner ever? Yeah. No, I don't mean DC-10. I mean DC-8. DC-8. 4 engines, 1 aisle. It's kind of like the Boeing version of the 340. Yeah. Old school 340. Oh, you know what? That's one too I'd love to fly as an A340 600. Even though I don't know if anybody's flying the 600s anymore. I flew the L1011 and IRL. Hey, Callie, so I flew the L1011 myself. Or flew on an L1011, I should say. I would love, love, love to get an L1011 in Microsoft down the line. I know we got a DC-10 coming from Aerodynamics, I believe, is the company. And it looks awesome. I saw the latest update from Aerodynamics. It looked really good. Haven't really seen many cockpit pictures, but the model looks fantastic. Which doesn't mean a whole lot. You know, it's all about the systems to me. But Lufthansa still has some 600s? All right, cool. Maybe a Lufthansa's hiring. Where's Blackbox? Doesn't he work for Lufthansa? I thought he said that on a podcast at one point. Maybe he can hook me up. A3, but see, here's the thing. If I flew the A340-600, I'd want to fly it from like Dallas to LA. I don't want to be doing 18, 17-hour legs in that thing. Can you talk about why we turn off the flight directors on final in an Airbus? Yes, indeed, Iron Man. So the flight directors, there's a couple different methods that go about the whole flight director thing. So the basic principle of Airbus is if the flight directors are on, you need to follow the flight directors. Follow the flight directors. That's what we're trained. If you're using the flight directors are on, they need to be followed. If you do not want to follow the flight directors, you need to turn them off. And the reasoning behind that is there is connection between the flight director and specifically in the auto thrust system and with some of the vertical modes of the Airbus. So without getting too technical, it is possible for the airplane to be in a bad position if you are not following the flight directors, but you have the auto thrust on. You could potentially start getting into a scenario where you either have overspeed or a low speed state. And the easiest example I can think of is, let's say we have a TCAS event and we turn the autopilot off, but we leave the flight directors on. The auto thrust is on, the flight directors are on, and let's say we were level here at 370 and we got to descend. If I turn the autopilot off and push the nose forward, the airplane is going to be like, whoa, why are we descending? We need power. So it's going to then spool up the engines while we're nose low. And if we're up here at 7-8 Mach spooling up the engines, guess what's going to happen? You're going to overspeed. And then you're going to go into VNE, and then you're going to start climbing. And your TCAS is telling you to descend, and you're going to be climbing because you're in overspeed protection. That's a very basic example of how they are kind of connected, right? So with that knowledge, the principle behind Airbus is if the flight directors are on, you need to follow them. If you don't want to follow them, that's fine, but turn them off. So with reference to approach, a couple different things, a couple different methods on that. You've seen me leave the flight directors on when I do ILS approaches, even if I'm hand flying the airplane. But if I'm hand flying the airplane or the approach, I am what? Following the flight director. If I don't want to follow the flight director, maybe I don't like the way the glide slope is looking outside here on Microsoft, because some of these glide slopes are definitely funky on Microsoft. There's no doubt about it. We've got some funky glide slopes. So in that case, what I'll do is I will turn the flight directors off because they want to follow the glide slope. And if my auto thrust is on, they're going to give me power accordingly to what it wants me to do here with the flight directors, theoretically. Now, if the auto thrust is off and I'm hand flying the airplane and I have the flight directors on, then nothing really bad is going to happen. It's just bad technique. You don't want to have extra information on your PFD if you're not using it, if you can help it. So in that scenario, flight director's off, give me the bird. You don't have to have the bird. I prefer the bird. You can just fly pitch and bank angles. That's fine. But that's another scenario where sometimes I might have the flight director on an ILS or on an approach, and sometimes I don't. Where we turn them off on approach is on the RNAV approaches. Now this is specific, and interesting enough, we have a new memo coming out on this, but interesting enough, on an RNAV approach, it is a non-precision approach. So the airplane will give you vertical and lateral guidance all the way down until your MDA. At the bottom of the MDA, it is no longer in some airplanes, in the majority of Airbuses that I fly, because this isn't true for every single Airbus. Remember, Airbus is kind of like a Swiss Army knife. But on an RNAV approach, when you get to the MDA, it has nothing else to track. So what it's going to do is it's going to revert to a basic flight director mode. It's going to go right into vertical speed and FPA. And if you are following the flight directors because they're on, and you've now gone into vertical speed FPA, and you're following the flight directors, you're now going to go flight director vertical speed into the ground without flaring. Theoretically, hopefully a good pilot's going to see that and be like, oh, I'm going to look outside, I'm going to pitch up, I'm not going to fly the flight director into the ground. But you have to remember, these airplanes were designed for very low time pilots to fly, 250 hours. They were designed for low time pilots to get in and fly safely. So with that being said, staying with the philosophy of if the flight directors are on, fly them. If you don't want them, turn them off. That's why we turn off the flight directors on an RNAV approach. Now, here's a little asterisk to all of that. Just recently, our aircraft have been outfitted with some equipment that now allows for us to fly with the flight directors on to even lower than the MDA. I believe it's 100 feet AGL. I have to actually look because I haven't flown an airplane since the memo came out. It's bad of me, but hopefully that's the right number. So now on an RNAV approach, Iron Man, instead of turning them off at or prior to the MDA, I can now leave the flight directors on till 100 feet and then turn them off. Me personally, I really don't like having below a couple hundred feet and having to reach up here and turn flight director off. Now the pilot monitoring, that's his job, is to turn flight directors off. So call me old school. MDA, I'm just going to turn them off. I'm just going to fly the airplane because I can see the runway at that point anyway. If I can't see the runway, then we're going around. It doesn't matter. So that's kind of the long-winded answer about flight directors on the Airbus. And remember, this is technique. This is coming from my experience with the airplanes I fly. There are a slew of different equipment variations that you can have where you can actually keep the flight directors on all the way to the ground on an RNAV approach, on an LPV approach, or on an RNP approach. You can keep them all the way on, or an FLS approach. So there is equipment, and the equipment is always evolving and getting better. But the old school way of doing it, the old method was, hey, you're going to go into a basic mode once you hit the MDA. Let's turn them off so you don't go vertical speed into the ground. That's kind of the premise behind it. I hope it answers your question. The biggest takeaway, and I can't stress it enough, and I even tell new guys on the airplane, as long as you're doing everything within your company SOPs, it doesn't matter if the flight directors are on or if they're off. Just remember, if you're going to fly the flight directors, fly the flight directors. Don't deviate from them. If you don't want to fly the flight directors, turn them off. It's that simple. So that's the biggest takeaway I can give you for that. Captain Corndog, welcome to Private Pilot, my friend. Glad to have you on board, dude. All right. Ooh, what do we have here? We have a vSpirit. This is I think one of the coolest parts to flying with a VA. So I'm gonna do a couple things here. We'll get our VAMSys up as well, so we can see some other stuff here. So you can see we are. Move this over here. We've got about 280 miles to go. Let's look at our map. You can see here we are. We're getting ready to enter Boise. Our automated uplink for spiritual wings. We are arriving. Boise is Bravo 19. Ground power, yes. Ground air, yes. We can arrow down. Keep APU shut down when able. Automated service provided by vSpirit. So that's pretty cool. So we know we have a gate assignment now. Bravo 19. We got an ops freak. So a good FO or a good pilot monitoring will put that in the secondary standby. It won't actually put it active, but it'll put it in there.
Awesome stream. Thanks for sharing all the knowledge.
31575. Cornelius Nimbus. Cornelius Nimbus. Bank angle check right back at you, my friend, as I try to get this frequency in here. 31575 is in the standby secondary. So it's not active, but it's ready to go there in case we need. Cornelius, thank you so much, man, for the $10 bank angle check. Bank angle check right back at you, my friend. I'm glad you're enjoying the stream. Glad you're picking up some nuggets of information. Hope you continue to enjoy this content. And always a pleasure, man. Thank you so much. All right, this song has put me to bed. All right, how are we doing? We are 370. I feel like we're going to be pretty high on path here. We don't have any ATC on, so let's start configuring our charts here. We'll probably have to give ourselves our self-vectoring here. Boise. And we're on the arrival, and the approach was the spud. There's some potato spuds. Landing 10, we need to cross Illumi at 7, or no, ECME at 7,000. Why is ECME not even in here? It's not in here, is it? It's not. But Alubi is. What's up with this? I'm gonna reload it. I'm gonna go Spud 4. And our flight plan was off of Brof. Insert. Insert. Oh yeah, here we go. We're gonna do this thing again. Let's go direct. Brof. Nav. Spud, Faldi, Illumi, ECME at 7,000. Cool. So ECME is at 7,000. It is mountainous terrain. We'll have terrain up on my side. We're going to set 7,000 in the FCU. Actually, we're going to start down. Let's do the real world step down here. We're getting a little bit of moderate chop at 370. Let's go ahead and set, let's try 35 for a little bit. Let's step down 2,000 feet. We'll go mock descent. We'll see if we can get some smoother air. With that said, let's also start a brief preparation for the ILS Yankee 10 right. Captain Cornong says, I've certainly followed the channel and Discord long enough, and it's nearly payday, so I feel like it's my duty to become a member. Thanks for another great stream. Captain Corndog, I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoy your new perks here at the channel. Be sure to check out the community tab on my YouTube channel as well. That's where all the shorts videos get posted. Get to see some cool ones. How about, I thought that last shorts video I did was probably my favorite one. Make sure you check those out. Hope you enjoy the content, man. Thank you. All right, so let's get our LS push buttons up here as well. We'll do LS, constraint mode on, and 3036 for the mins. So we'll come back here. We'll do 3036 in the barrow. Clear that too steep path. Return. We know we're going to Bravo 19. 110 at 14. Get this in here. This is going to be important for ground speed mini. Temperature is 2 degrees. And we got to talk about some ice again. QNH 3010. 30.10. 1, 0, set. Done. So we're stepping down a 350. And there we go. There we go. Let's go to that song. This is a happy dance song. All right. So our perf data is in there. We could run some landing numbers before we get too far behind. Hopefully it smooths out here. We'll turn that seatbelt sign off real quick. Let's do landing data calculation. And then we'll look at ground ops here. There might be some mixed slush on the ground at 2 degrees. Probably all going to be melted. 10 right is in the box. We'll do a good medium on the RCAM. We'll refresh METAR, apply METAR, and our landing weight, take our current weight right now, 137.8. Will be a little bit less than that, but that's fine. 137.8. Boom. Oh, this is the Captain Canada song, isn't it? Or used to be? Let's not. I don't want to go. Oh, this is good. This is our intro song. I like this one. We'll listen to it again. I like this beat for some reason. Let's do a full flap. That's flap 3. Full flap, max reverse. And if we do manual brakes, max manual, look how low that gets. Let's talk about anti-ice. Oh, these are failures. Wing anti-ice system fault. No, I don't want that. These are landing distance procedures. That's pretty cool. Auto thrust on the water brakes. Cool. So we need about 66 with an additive 7,600 feet. We have 9,700 available. Beautiful. Let's talk about hydroplaning for a minute. If I can get this down to like 1 notch here. Really need a slider. That's cool though. All right, so landing, let's take what are some concerns we have now with landing in light slush, light rain. It's probably not snowing because it is 2 degrees on the ground there. So if anything, it's not going to be sticking. But anytime you're landing in rain on a wet runway, there is a potential for a phenomenon known as hydroplaning. With a light rain, probably not really hydroplaning concern, but it is worth mentioning in case the rain were to pick up, since it is a nice little cell over there by Boise. Hydroplaning is in direct correlation between the speed of the aircraft, or the rotation of the wheels, and the tire pressure. I used to know the formula. I believe it's like the square root of the tire pressure, something like that. I'm sure somebody has the information on Google, but basically you don't have to calculate it, but you want to be aware of it. So when you hydroplane, or in a case like today where skidding is probably going to be more apparent because we're going to be sliding on a wet runway surface, there's a potential to slide, we can think about our anti-skid and how that's going to be active for us. So anti-skid is exactly that. It basically measures the rotations of the tires, and it knows when one is either rotating out of phase with the other. So then it can say, oh, that tire is skidding. It will then apply or release the brakes when the auto brake system is on to prevent you from hydroplaning and skidding. That's why it's called AKA anti-skid. Now, even with the auto brakes off, anti-skid is still available in manual braking, but it is not going to protect you from hydroplaning like auto brakes will. When you have auto brakes on, that's going to measure a deceleration rate, which will protect you in the case of hydroplaning. So is this a scenario where we would turn auto brakes on? You could go auto brakes on this one. My theory personally behind it though is if the airplane is going to be actively using anti-skid features to prevent it from sliding, I would rather be in control of the brakes instead of letting the airplane do it. Because if you've ever been in the airplane where you're landing with auto brakes and you actually feel the anti-skid kick on, or to help because you're hydroplaning or you're skidding, it's kind of alarming, but it does its job. It does a great job. But for me, if I have manual brakes and I apply the brake pressure and I can start to feel, we're starting to skid now, I can just very gradually release that brake pressure, get the airplane back positive contact, okay, and it's going to be a little bit more controlled, less jerky, if you will, than the automated system. So there's a school of thought on either one. Yes, you can use auto brakes, totally fine, it's totally safe. You don't have to use auto brakes. It's totally fine, totally safe. As long as you are aware of the runway surface and the conditions and the cause and effect of what can happen when you touch down. Now, Cornelius Nimbus put out a great point there. Positive landing required. So a positive landing would definitely be required in the event of stagnant water or slush. Now, I just got an alert from YouTube saying that basically went off. Hopefully, are you guys still with me? That's weird. Maybe the weather did something. This sounds a bit like I can brake better than ABS driver flex. No, Sky, not at all. It's just not better. It's just more controlled. But a positive landing, going back to what Cornelius was saying, so with a wet runway with stagnant water, to reduce the risk of hydroplaning, a positive landing is indeed helpful to help break the surface tension of the water and get the tires firmly on the ground. And then, of course, if your tires are on the ground, then you get your anti-skid on, and it will prevent you from sliding. Now, in the event of where hydroplaning was a big concern, so let's say it's heavy rain, heavy torrential downpour, then 100% I want to use auto brakes, because that is going to prevent you from hydroplaning. Where just skidding on a wet runway surface is a little bit different, but it's the same system that's going to kind of help you out. So those are some factors, some threats that we'll discuss up here as a crew member, as crews. How's our, it seems like it's smoothed out at 35, so let's turn the seatbelt sign off for a little bit. We'll turn the seatbelt sign off just for a little bit here as we get ready for our final descent. We'll set 7,000 up here. So for this particular landing, we'll do manual brakes. But we've already talked about the threats. We've got terrain on ND. We'll pull out our approach chart. Let's take a look. Is there any special notes we need to pay attention to for Boise? Not really. We'll take it out off of Jimmy. It's at 6,000 feet. If we have to go miss, looks like it's pretty much straight out to Canic with a slight right turn, 7,300 feet. DME's required. VGSI and ILS glide path are not coincident. VGSI 3 degrees. A threshold crossing height of 64 feet. So the VGSI, it takes you over 64 feet over the threshold. Reals, Pappy's right side of 10 left. You see it's a 3-degree path. Ground speed in knots, if you're doing 140, about 743 feet per minute on the descent to maintain a 3-degree path. We've got full lighting, so we can shoot this approach all the way down to RVR 1800 or a half mile of visibility. So we have plenty of visibility. We should see the runway. We will use the engine anti-ice on our descent, as we're going to be descending into visible moisture, and it'll be minus 40. Well, that's pretty cold up here, minus 52. We'll have engine anti-ice on, and then probably for safety in the sim world, we'll turn on our wing anti-ice, because we can't see visible ice accretion on the Phoenix, but we're going to be in a prime spot for ice to be accumulating. So we're going to make sure that we get our wing anti-ice on, and then we'll shut it off hopefully right before the final approach fix. Is there a scenario of turning off the anti-skid? Yes. So the abnormal braking or loss of normal braking memory items. So if I were to land the airplane and all of a sudden there's no braking, there's no deceleration, it is a alternate braking memory item. So what happens is you release the brake pedals. Boom, release the brake pedals, reverse to maximum if you're not already in maximum reverse. At nose wheel anti-skid button right here off. So we'll turn the anti-skid and nose wheel steering button or switch off, and then we will reapply the brake pedals. When we reapply the brake pedals, we're going to monitor for 1,000 PSI or less. Now, depending on the aircraft and its equipment, some of the older Airbuses do not have the monitoring system on the alternate brakes, where it will actually allow you to brake over 1,000 psi. That's not good. On the airplanes that I fly, they all have that monitoring, even in the alternate brakes. So even though it says monitor 1,000 psi, theoretically it shouldn't let you brake over 1,000 psi in the airplanes that I fly. But there are Airbuses out there that will let you brake over 1,000 psi, and that's not good. So you want to monitor that psi brake pressure while you're applying the brakes in alternate braking. If that still does not work, then we use the parking brake. And the way you use the parking brake is short successive applications of the parking brake. The parking brake is going to use the accumulator pressure to brake the aircraft. You can see our accumulator pressure there is in the green. So if we do our alternate braking items and we still have no braking, now we're going to use the parking brake. And what you're going to do is you're going to turn the parking brake on for a short amount of time, and then you're going to turn it back off. You're going to turn it back on, turn it back off, turn it back on, turn it back off. And that's going to help slow the airplane down. It'll be very abrupt, it'll be very uncomfortable, but it's better than going off the end of the runway. So you have really 3 methods of slowing down and stopping the airplane in an alternate braking scenario. All right. I need some water here. Jeez. Look at these clouds though, huh? These clouds and this sim is just 10 for 10. Exactly, Mika. Do you intentionally make firm landing if the runway is wet? Brad, yeah, especially if you have standing water or slush. You basically don't try to get a super butter. If you do butter it, it's not a big deal. The airplane is going to come through that standing water, but I'll try to talk about this more on the podcast when I had my recent landing in extreme heavy rain, but you basically just don't want to milk it, right? And because if you're milking it, now what you're doing is you're also eating up runway that you can probably help you out slowing down. So you just want to put it on the ground and live to fly another day. Douglas Phillips, what's up, my friend? Welcome, dude. Just in time. We're getting ready to start down. It's light rain, light mist, and snow in Boise. We have the vertical sim, Boise, Idaho Airport. I picked it up today for, I think it's $15. I picked it up before the stream. It looks really, really good. So if you do like the airports you see, make sure you check out Vertical Sim. I think he's one of the best airport devs in the biz. So he's got some really good sceneries out there. I need to fly to more of his sceneries as well, but this is a complete non-sponsor plug too. I just think he does a fantastic job with creating sceneries. So this one for $15, I mean, it's really, really good. So make sure you check that out as well. I agree, Blue Mac. These clouds are real. They're straight real, man. RTO on water-saturated runway must be scary. MIGs, yeah. But remember, if you do an RTO, and the auto brakes are armed, it's going to go into auto. Your auto brakes are going to handle that theoretically. But you're absolutely right. It doesn't make it any less scary. That's kind of one of the biggest things in the back of my mind. If I'm taking off, super low vis, heavy rain, or on a snow-covered runway, it's like, oh boy, this is you really got to have something wrong to reject that takeoff, because rejecting at high speed on snow-covered runway is just you're asking for it. You're really asking for it. So it's got to be something pretty darn severe that you're going to abort for. Douglas, you have the scenery too. Got it. Was going to do flight from Phoenix later. There you go. Yeah, Douglas, it's a great one. I loaded in today just to see it, and I was very impressed. Very impressed by the quality of the scenery. For $15, you can't beat it. How do you recover and do another flight after something scary happens? Hopefully nothing scary happens, man. Hopefully nothing scary happens. That's the thing. But if it's a severe enough event, if your airline is unionized, you can probably speak with your union and they'll help you out. When I diverted for an emergency, we were asked to fly the same airplane, and we had a discussion and like, all right, we'll do it. There was no pressure to do it. We could have easily said no, but they did a good job at asking us, making sure we were okay, mental state, because that's a big deal. You have an event that something might happen like that. Like, hey, yeah, that's a big deal. You got to be in the right mental space to fly airplanes. Chris Scott, that's what we're planning on, although right now it's a light mist and rain. So let's go ahead and start down now. We've hit our TOD. We're going to go thrust, idle, descent. We're already in some of the clouds. So we'll fade out this song. We'll end it. And we will turn on the engine anti-ice in preparation. Remember, it's a preventative. Look at that. Look at our EGT drop a little bit there. Alright, we already got the more drag on there, typical. And down we go. Let's bump up the sim sounds. This is real weather. Real time, real weather. We're starting down for 7,000. We're behind the curve already for some reason. 1,200 feet high, of course. We get a little speed brake action in there. If I remember correctly, aren't grooved runways considered dry unless the areas are standing water? And not for landing performance. If it's wet, it's wet. But theoretically, if they're grooved, they should be much better, right? That's a big topic of discussion for flying anywhere not in the United States. So like I know in South America specifically, and even Mexico, a lot of the runways are not grooved. So landing in Cancun, I've done that a dozen times, 100 times. That runway is not grooved, and it can become very slippery when wet. So that's also a consideration. All right, let's pop on our Unicom. We're on Unicom 22.8. Bump that up a little bit. What's my favorite? Cessna, Diamond, Piper. Piper Arrow, man. If I had to pick between those three, Piper, I think it looks better. All right, there we go. So we went from high to low to either or. So we got, I think that's that Alaska out in front of us. We are entering the soup now. Why are grooved runways better? Because they're grooved. So essentially it runs the water off of the surface. If you have a non-grooved runway, you essentially have standing water everywhere because it's not running anywhere. It's stagnant, especially if the runway surface is completely flat or a bowl shape. You'll just have water pooling on the runway surface. So grooved runways help with that. Cancun, time to dust off the Mako Sim scenery. Yes, Blue Bear, that Mako Sim Cancun is fantastic. Migs, have you ever had a situation where METAR has shifted between, or quickly shifted between freezing, below freezing, indicated possible black ice? Yes, Migs, had to divert actually. So going into Greenville, Spartanburg, in an Embraer from Philly. On our way in, there's icing. So it was they changed the METAR on our approach. It's like, yeah, braking action is poor. Ice. It was wet ice. Was the wet ice? I think was the text. And we ran the numbers, and we could not land with wet ice. So we ended up diverting, and our diversion was Philly. So we ended up going back to our departure airport. But we held for a little bit and concluded with dispatch that, yeah, we should not attempt to land there. So Alt TCAS. Oh, we got the stupid auto TCAS on. Ner. So now it's going to do TCAS things. I don't know why this Alaska's going so slow. Alaska, pick up your speed, man. Is that another... Who is that? Is that another Spirit out there? I'll give him some space. We'll go heading 290. We'll go vertical speed 1800. Let's speed it up actually. Let's go 300. Let's see if we can get past him. That's the Elysian, not the Alaska. The Alaska got paid by milking every minute. Let's see if we can speed it up a little bit. And we'll set 11. Let's do this. Let's set 11,000. We'll go open descent, and we'll increase our speed to 310. And maybe we'll get out in front of them here. Any Alaska winter ops incoming? Ooh, that would be fun. Yes, Benny. Dutch Harbor, King Air. We'll do it. Dutch Harbor, King Air for sure. Wow, we're about to enter some serious weather. Let's go get the seatbelt sign on. Make an announcement. And let me turn this. I need to change the configuration. No. No. Cool. All right. Oh, now he decides to pick up. Let's go direct to MASH. Direct to MASH. Insert. Wow, look at this though, huh? Look at that view. How sweet is that? That is amazing. Look, I actually like this heading better. It keeps us kind of away from that clouds over there. Going right through there. Screenshot. Exactly, Tony. That looks amazing. That's so real, man. Other than maybe the wild ride we had with Ian. Yeah, Migs, that stream was that was something else, the Hurricane Ian stream. Love some radar right about now. Yeah, Blue Mac, me too, man. I would love it with a radar right about now. But we can look visually. Alright, let's go ahead and hit the Magic Barrow ref key. Well, let's get an updated one. KBOI. Let's send it. Right now, 110.156 6 miles, light rain, mist, overcast 3400, and 3009. So we'll go ahead and set 3009. Set 3009. And one more time here. That is set as well. And let's get our Throttletek cam on, and let's get flight recorder ready. Alright, so he seems to have sped up a little bit, so I don't know why he was lollygagging around there. We'll go 250. We'll go speed brakes out to full, which is half in the Airbus 320. So that is out. Flight recorder is ready, doing our pre-landing stream checks. No radar, just vibes the way God intended. There you go. Although that vibe right off the nose is not very good vibe. Not getting a great vibe off of the nose right there. There's that Alaska up there. We'll slow to 250, which we did. We'll continue down to 11. Of course, thrust out of open descent 11 is blue. We'll have to extend out a little bit. Boise traffic, speed wings 25-12. We're at a 15-4 over Spud, setting up for the ILS Yankee 10 right. Boise traffic. We are on 122.8, and we do have proper radio on. Alright, engine anti-ice on. We'll do a manual brakes. Right about now, I would hit this button here and I'd say, flight attendants, please take your seats, because I don't know what we're going to get into. Could also give them a call and just be like, hey, so we'll just set you down right now anyway, because I don't know if this is going to be bumpy or not. Just stay down with your seatbelts on for the duration of the flight, please. Here we go, into the juice. All the levers and bottoms work on the throttle. Roman, yes. So the throttle is a Throttletek Flightbox V3. There's a link in the description of this video. I did a video specifically reviewing this throttle. Check it out. Check out Throttletek. They also have a Flightbox Mini, which is a smaller version of this. But and I say smaller version, it just it's still a full-size thrust lever. It just moves up some of these. You don't get the parking brake and the rudder trim or the trim wheels. But check it out, man. Throttletek. Links in the description below. How do you get notified whenever I press CPT call? What do you mean? How do you get... Oh, Chris, when you call me on the ground? So this mechanic, well, it would actually say mech in our airplanes. So HF2, since we only have one HF radio, this says mech in our airplanes because we don't have two HFs. And this would light up, or actually, no, that's a lie. Right here, this button would light up. It would start flashing, and I would get that buzz sound, that bzzz, and this would start flashing that you hit the captain call button. All right, let's go back to Navigraph. What was touchdown zone is 2,800, so it's 3,000 really. So we are, let's go ahead and get our lights on here. 3,000.
Draft left, we're clear of 10 right, crossing 10 left, bad echo.
Why is it half-speed brakes, full-speed brakes in the Airbus? For the 320 specifically, when the autopilot is on, when you go full-speed brakes, it will limit you to half. And that's just for the aerodynamic properties of the 320. And the 319 and 321 will give you full-speed brakes. Now, on the 320, you can still get full if you disengage the autopilot. All right, so let's go ahead and set 7,000. We'll go ahead and descend down to 7. And let's put our TCAS into below mode, see if we can pick anybody up down there. I don't know where that Allegiant went, so dim these a tad. It's supposed to be at 210 knots. Let's continue slowing. Give him some space. We'll go 210, open descent. Let's void break it out here. Did Phoenix mount the SAT dome on the 320? No. Do airlines pick which RA callouts are active? Yes. Yes, Michael Nash. The airline can modify which callouts are programmed to announce, and you can actually change it in the McDo through the maintenance menu. Most of the time, though, that feature is locked. But yeah, it's as simple as changing, going into the maintenance function of the McDo on the ground, and the mechanics can change what's programmed, I believe. But yes, it will be standardized across an airline's fleet. All right, so we're right at green dot. Let's go ahead and put flaps 1 out there. We'll go slats 1. Do you get your windshield wipers on? Chris Scott, believe it or not, windshield wipers really are only used on the ground. I only use windshield wipers on the ground when I'm taxiing, trying to see something in heavy rain, or on, maybe on a short final. Even if it's pouring rain, I'm not going to turn the wipers on until probably 200 feet because they're super annoying and you don't need to see anything out the window anyway. So we're picking up heavy rain. The sounds of the rain in this is so good. It's so good. So good, man. Alright, everything else looks good. Double check, make sure my terrain is up. It is. So we are descending to 7. We're at 210. We'll continue on heading out past Elube. And Elube is at 4,400 feet, so we'll basically self-vectoring ourselves here. We don't have to go all the way out to Jimmy. Anti-ice is on. So our engine anti-ice is on. Since we're just picking up rain right now, though, we're not actively icing. +6. There's no need for a wing anti-ice. I say that, now watch the airplane like just roll over and fall out of the sky. But because we're actually getting visible rain, it's not ice. Snow. I don't think we're actually accumulating ice even in the Phoenix. It would be cool if we could see it visibly. That would be really neat. What's it mean on the McDo when it says step down descent? That means you entered a step altitude. You have a step altitude in your flight plan to descend. So maybe you were cruising at 39, and then for winds you needed to descend to 33. Then you loaded that. If you loaded it from SimBrief or something, that means you needed to step altitude. If you don't, nothing will happen. It'll just say step deleted once you fly past it. I heard FS Labs is working on Neos for Microsoft. Really? I have not heard that, Imar. That's pretty interesting. Oh yeah, Migs. Hail damage is no joke. Absolutely. It'll rip the nose straight off the airplane. Rip the nose cone off. There was one just recently in Colombia, LATAM 320, that had that. I posted some pictures of that earlier. So you see, like right now, if we were in an IAE engine, we'd have the ignition on because we're flaps 1. But apparently with CFMs, don't need it. Or Pratt & Whitney Neos, they don't do it either. Can you see ice in X-Plane? I don't believe so, Rams fan. Do not believe so. You can see ice on the fly-by-wire and some other default models, so I know it's possible to simulate it. I just don't know to the I have no idea how that would work in the sim. Now, what's really cool about P3D is you could actually see, like, your leading edge. If you turn the wing anti-ice on and the engine anti-ice on, you'd see this would be clean, and these three would be clean, but then you'd see some ice on the internal here. Because if you guys remember from our anti-ice stream yesterday, only the outboard 3 slats are heated. P3D had a pretty cool simulation of that. Alright, we're going to do 5,000. Let's go ahead and do an open descent. Thrust idle, open descent. We're in selected speed. Let's just go ahead and activate and confirm the approach phase. VAP is 136. Check. Now we go. They're working on it on P3D first to get some modeling right. Ah, I got you. Flight overlay is frozen. Take care of that. Doesn't FS Labs have a malware problem in the past? They did in the past, Mika. In fact, if you go... Oh, I can't move my camera in there. Go down here, go in here. There you go, where the landing gear kits are. Test.exe. That is the malware from P3D. That's a nice little Easter egg.
2,500.
Radio altimeter alive. That's always kind of interesting when you are at 5,000 feet. Speed alt star, let's go ahead and reduce speed to 180. Nice light rain here. Spare wings 3512, turn right, flight heading 300. Vectors 410 right. 300 on the heading, spare wings 3512. There's VFE next minus 10. Flaps 2. A little bit of a frame drop there in the turn. Already more likes than viewers. You guys are awesome. Thank you for smashing down that like button. I appreciate you. You guys are absolutely awesome. Alright, let's see if I can give myself a nice vector here. Spirit wings 2512. Descend and maintain 4,500. Turn right, heading 020. Make it 010. Maintain 4,500 till established. Cleared ILS 10 right approach. 4,500 till established. Cleared ILS 10 right. Spring 3512. That might be a terrible vector. Ooh, that's going to be tight. I should have stuck with 020. I'm going to go right over the final. Yeah, I'm not an air traffic controller. We'll let the Airbus do a smart turn here on us. But now here's a gotcha. Look at our field elevation is 3,000. So even though we're not at the final approach fix yet, look how low we are to the ground. So in order to get stable, we need to slow down even earlier. If we try to cross, you know, at the final approach fix at 180, yeah, forget about it. So let's actually come back to 160. And let's extend flaps 3, and let's, there we go. Lokestar is captured. We're doing an Airbus smart turn, flaps 3. We'll pay attention now. We'll hand fly this ILS too. How's that? Signs are on. Ding. Boise traffic, experience 2512. We're just outside of Alubi on about a 9-mile final for 10 right. Boise traffic. Alright, Loke. If we have to go miss, the go around altitude is 7,300. So this is going to be real quick. To be stable by 1,000, we got to be real Johnny on the spot here when this captures. So here we go. There's glide slope star, manage speed, gear down, arm the speed brakes, flaps full. Go on altitude is 7,300. That is set. Landing check-ins, cabin crew advised, auto thrust speed. Auto brakes are off, ECAM memo, a landing all green, a landing checklist is complete. Recording is on. Let's fly this one down, shall we? We'll let the autopilot, we'll let the auto thrust do auto thrust things, but we will hand fly the approach. So I'm going to leave the flight directors on. Let's see what kind of glide slope we got here. Got traffic crossing over our final there. Interesting, not talking to us. Interesting. Southwest. Typical Southwest. Was inside. Looks like that rain. Look at the low vis though. That looks so real, guys. This sprinkled fog mist looks so real. 15 knots right on the nose. All right, I'm going to continue to follow this glide slope, even though I feel like it's going to bring me in a little low, but let's trust the process. Let's see what happens for science. So far, it looks pretty bang on, actually. 2 whites, 2 reds. The slope is looking good. A little bit of chop coming in.
400. 100 above. 300.
So now we're all red, but let's just, for science, we're following the slope.
Minimum.
Insight, landing. All right, so I'm going to go visual reference
100.
now, because that's going to be way low. All right, so it's a little bit off. Well, maybe not.
50,
I don't know.
40. 30. 20. Retard. 10. 5.
Come on, baby. Spoilers. Reverse screen. Decel. Oh my goodness. Beautiful. 70 knots. Manual brakes. Let's make this left turn right here. Stow it. Man, I love having idle reverse. Having proper reverse detents with the Throttletek is just so freaking fun. so fun. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to where are we at? Boise. We got to do both sides. Oh, don't stop. Boise traffic, Spearwings 2512. We're going to cross 10 right, taxi to the ramp, Boise. So the windshield wipers really hit my frames there. 6 feet per minute, I'm calling. Oh yeah, we don't have the landing rate monitor on. Look at that though, how cool is this? Landing in proper snow covered. Let's keep our lights on until we cross the runway. Roberto, good point. Yeah, it won't. RA is inhibited below 800 feet, so Roberto is correct on that. We wouldn't get an RA there. All right, we need to go to Bravo 19, which I believe is over here, so let's clean it up. Spoid brakes, flaps are coming up. Look how nice the scenery is. Oh, we landed in ghost mode. Rip. We'll leave the engine anti-ice on. Come on, turn that off, turn that off. And let's get the APU started. I never did the clock because we need to do a proper cool down. So we need to taxi slow here because we want to get all the maximum points for our VA today. This is default weather, man. This is default weather. Look at that. So 19 is right there on the end. I see it. What would happen in real life if you land in ghost mode? Absolutely nothing. But it would never happen because those lights are associated with the landing clearances in real life. So cleared approach, we turn on one for our SOP, and clear to land, then we turn on the taxi light for our SOP. So I check those light switches about 3 or 4 times on the final coming down in real life because it kind of helps verify that we got a landing clearance. But if you do it in ghost mode, nothing's going to happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to stop just short of our gate. We'll stop the recording. We'll stop here. We'll stop short. We'll turn our taxi light off. We'll set the brake. Our cooldown is 123. Let me see GSX. Let's do Bravo 19 parking. No follow me required. I know where I'm going. There he is. We'll let them populate. So we got marshalers. And ladies and gentlemen, we're just short of the gate here. Please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until we get parked at the gate with seatbelt sign off. Thank you for your patience. So we've got everybody seated still. We are, where's our cooldown? Let me check my VAMSys ACARS. We landed at 205.43. It's 209. So another 20 seconds, we'll shut off the engine and then we'll taxi into the gate here. So we're just pretend we're waiting on marshalers. I mean, this is realism to the next level. All right, so there is 43, close enough. So to shut down number 2, we're gonna go yellow electric pump on, engine 2 anti-ice off, and number 2 off. Confirm, confirm. Number 2 is gonna spool down. Love that. All right, let's go ahead and taxi in. So we'll go brakes off, spool it up, let the marshalers know we're coming. This is always fun, making a 90-degree turn here with one engine into the operating engine too. Brake set. There's a cut. Number 2 is off. Seatbelt sign is off. APU is on. Number 1 is coming down. That wasn't a very good parking? Hey, you told me to stop. I mean, she told me to stop. You guys saw it. Yeah, we stopped way short. I'm gonna get rid of that. That can come off. And let's do a proper... Oh, look what we forgot. We forgot to turn down the engine anti-ice. Whoops. Never done that before. All right, so shutdown. Tank pumps are coming off. That's coming off. That's coming off. That's coming off. We have APU available, so we'll go external power on, and we'll go APU off. Oops, wrong button there. And we are below 5%, so beacon light will come off. Everything else is off. And we'll do, that goes there. That goes standby 2000. And radar PWS is off. And we have do we have a message? That's our arrival message. AOC received. Arrival at 2112. Cool. So that is done. And they would operate the jet bridges. And actually, I think we can bring the jet bridge over. All right, so we're going to deboard. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Boise, Idaho. I hope you enjoyed the flight. I wonder if they're going to come take bags and passengers off. Is GSX worth the money at this stage? Mateo Chewy. I tell you what, when I found out that GSX had de-icing procedures, it really changed the way I think about GSX. I do not like the fact that it's just aesthetics. It doesn't actually load the airplane for weight and balance and stuff. So for that, I'm kind of spoiled. But if you like doing full flights with trying to recreate as much as possible, as some 7.3 is landing in the background, that's so cool. It's not bad. I mean, just take a look at this. I mean, you actually get people to deboard here, and baggage is going to start coming down, the belt loaders. Like, we did a full vSpirit flight today with SOPs, with everything, and we're here. So we got to look at the replay, but we got to deboard, I guess. So we'll let it deboard. Let me check my VAMSys out, though. Let's go ahead and see what it did. So the flight may now be ended. Arrived at stand 15. This was 19. Uh-oh. Man, did it give me a landing rate? This said at 0 feet airspeed 129, vertical speed was 186 feet per minute. So that's what it said, 186 on the landing rate. Again, this is part of the VAMSys for vSpirit. Look at the ACARS, it tracks everything. Startup, engine 1 is on, flap set, there's a single engine taxi, we'll get points for that. Coming in, engine 2 is off, engine 1 is off, arrived at stand. I don't know if we single engine taxied in enough to get our points there for our inbound, but pretty cool. So flight 2512 VA Friday. Cool. We'll file the PIREP. That's done. Done. And man, you really have to sit here and wait for them to deboard? I wish GSX would let you pre-plan pushback, like better pushback. That would be pretty cool. You know, it does a good job, though. It really doesn't do a bad job. And you can customize parking positions to make it even better for you if that's what you want. But it's not terrible. Flight Force, thank you for the $2 super chat message. Got to ask you a question after stream. All right, man. Fire away. Hopefully I can answer it for you. Romulus says, GSX has been known to cause me to scream obscenities at the PC, but generally I like it. Yeah. Yeah, I'm right there with you, Romulus. All right. We can't see passengers, or I think if we go in the jet bridge we can. So if I go to like this, we'll come down here so we can actually say goodbye. Goodbye. Have a nice day. Goodbye. Goodbye. Thank you, ma'am. Look like a candy cane. Goodbye. Thank you, sir. Get some rest. Have a good night. Well, you're going to be cold. Have a good night. Take care, buddy. This isn't Hawaii. Have a good night. You looking fly? Have fun at the frat house tonight, sir. Don't kill me, please. Have a good day. No comment. Hello. Hello. Goodbye. Goodbye, sir. Have a good one. Take care. Godspeed, brother. What else we got? Of course, this is like typical when deboarding too. They're taking their time. Have a good one, man. Want to come up, see the flight deck? Take care. Don't trip. Don't slip. Jet bridge is wet, sir. Have a good night, man. Thank you for flying Spirit Airlines. Take care, man. You're going to be cold. You're looking fly, my friend. Have a good one. Take it easy, brother. Have a good one. Enjoy high school. I don't know what's happening here. You guys are like in formation. That look like a Fed. Take it easy, brother. Have fun at the frat school. Frat house. Good day. All right, I'm gonna get in trouble if we do this for the rest of the flight. All right, let's come back in here and let's end everything. Make sure everything is off. Okay, so we're gonna close that and let's do a replay. So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna dismiss that. I'm gonna do GSX. I'm basically just gonna restart, which will stop everything. We'll go back to the Phoenix tab and panel states. Are we doing a second leg? What time is it? 3:18. I don't know. I don't think we're gonna do a second leg today, my friends. It's pretty hot in my office right now. I'm sweating pretty good. Oh, let me get these back on. That's good. Parking brake off. We'll get the flaps out. All the kids are unaccompanied minors. Farewells need to become a thing. There you go. Yeah, that's one good way to get banned on YouTube. All right. Everything else is online. Let's look outside. Let's close doors. Do that, do that, do that, do that. And replay it is. Second leg in the King Air. Nah. With the weather, let's check the weather. It's 3:20. This stream was actually a little bit longer than I thought it was going to be, so. Yeah, and there's some weather coming. I should probably get home. Demonetized indeed. We'll watch the replay here. Full flaps are coming in. We'll see how our landing was. Oh, forgot to disconnect from VATSIM. That should be replay cam. If you do a second flight, Reno Salt Lake for extra vSpirit points and double points. Can't do it, man. Not tonight. I was going to. I'm half tempted, but I know about halfway through the stream I'd be wide. Maybe tomorrow we'll do King Air stuff. I typically don't do Saturday flying. Maybe. No promises. I think there's some good college football on tomorrow, so maybe not. Let's see. Let's see how our landing was. Have I tried the PMS 750? No, I have not. But Mateo, I know people that use it and they really, really like it. I think Phantom, does Phantom have the PMS one? I can't remember which one he has, but yes, it makes that airplane extremely capable, Mateo. When you fly that with that GPS, makes it a very, very capable airplane. TCU, Al, exactly. The Horned Frogs are up on Saturday too. What time are they playing tomorrow? Are they early or late? I gotta check. I have to plan my streams around football on the weekends. Let's see. Ooh, Tennessee and Georgia. That's right. I wanted to see that one. That's a big one. I don't know why my phone is like taking forever to load. The Utes, Mike V. Oh, that touchdown seemed nice. Oh, that seemed good. We're going to have to see that. Let me see if I can turn these lights on. Let's go back. Too low terrain. Turn the lights on for the replay. All right, let's see this. This touchdown had to be absolute butter. Let's see how we did here. We'll watch another one. I don't plan. I have FS Realistic, but I don't use it. I've stopped using it. I think FS Realistic is good for default airplanes. If you're flying default GA stuff, it adds some immersion, but it was bugging out my King Air, and it also made my Phoenix fly a little bit weird, so I'm not using it anymore. Let's see how we did. Oh, that was, yeah, 186? I don't know. I think that was about 86 feet per minute. Smack dab on the center line. I would take that. A low vis. It was gusty, but it was right down the runway. It was about 15 knots right down the pipe. That was pretty hasty. Oh, they're at 11 a.m. on Fox? Oh, yeah, so we can't stream tomorrow. 11 a.m. Won't be able to do it. Maybe early morning King Air stream, though. If anything, I'll do an early morning King Air stream, maybe like a 9 a.m. King Air flight. How's that? But it depends on how much I drink tonight. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Jeez, there's still almost 300 of you hanging around on the replay where we're just insulting passengers as they get off. You guys are absolutely nuts. You guys, I have the best fans on this channel. You guys are absolutely awesome. I have the absolute best fan base here on this channel. I can't thank you guys enough right now. I want to take a moment to thank Roberto over at Throttletek, first and foremost, for sponsoring the channel with some awesome hardware. Get to see it play out in real time. Get to manipulate real thrust levers. You guys get to see it. Hopefully, if you picked it up for yourself, you'll be enjoying it here soon enough. All my donos, I had some massive donations today, some crazy membership gifts. You guys are absolutely awesome. You're so generous. I mean, 'tis the season of giving, right? It is Thanksgiving, so you guys are nailing that. I mean, the chat is basically all green, which it continues to blow my mind. So I can't thank you guys enough. You're absolutely awesome. Smash down that like button like Mateo says on the way out. Or that was Brad Case. And both did, Mateo and Brad. Smash that like button if you haven't already. I don't really got more likes than views, but you guys are absolutely awesome. Until next time, maybe I give it a 50-50 chance of an early morning King Air GA stream tomorrow. If not, I'll probably see you guys on Monday. Really sad and depressed because my Jets lost by 75 to the Buffalo Bills. So until then, stay safe, stay healthy. I'm V1. See ya!
500. 400. 300. 200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard.
I guess I didn't